to let some people come in. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody is doing good and having a good weekend so far. I haven't been outside, but you know, it's LA, so the weather always good, you know. But today, what I want to talk about is some things you need to consider before you go no contact. I don't know why it's taking me so long to do this video, but I heard somebody talking about things that people don't discuss about no contact, and sometimes I think we YouTubers may make it seem like it's easier than it really is to go no contact. But the truth is, going no contact is not easy. You're going to experience a lot of different emotions that's going on. It's not, you may have some sleepless nights. You may need to get you some books on self-help. You need to may see a therapist or go to some type of group counseling, because you're going to need all the support you can. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that right now. So one of the things that you need to know if you're about to get ready to go no contact is that you're going to experience guilt. Now, I want you all to go back and look at that thumbnail, because that thumbnail was perfect. I'm trying to open up something. That thumbnail shows you, to me, different things that people are going to experience going no contact. So as far as guilt, you may know that something is not right in your family. Something is not right. Hey, you guys that's coming on in, welcome. So you already know that something is not right. You know, you may have grown up being like the black sheep of the family, that family scapegoat, where people are always talking down on you, and you notice they don't treat everybody disrespectful how they treat you. You may have your go around a friend, and you notice that this friend may be poking these little jabs at you that nobody else know that your friend is doing. To the normal eye, it may seem like your friend is not, it's just being a good friend, but you know they saying some slick stuff that you already told them you don't want to talk about. Don't bring that up no more. You know I don't like that, but they still keep on doing it. But you notice your friend not doing that with everybody else. But where the guilt comes in is when you're thinking about cutting these relationships off, is that you start remembering all the good things that happen in that relationship. That's why you start feeling guilty. And this is why I often compare narcissistic families and friendships to domestic violence. Because even with domestic violence, the people who leave those relationships, they experience guilt. You know, they start remembering like, wow, this person did help me with rent one day. This person was there to talk to me when I needed someone to talk to. Oh, well, this is my mother. This is my father. They raised me. They gave me birth. You know, who am I to say that I can't, that what they're doing to me is wrong? And don't beat yourself up for having guilt. It's natural that you're going to have guilt. Do you know how hard it is to decide that you're going to cut your parents off? And some of you, if you're dealing with friends, you may have been friends with this person since kindergarten, middle school, high school, and you got a lot of years with this person. And so it's natural that you're going to have these conflicting emotions if you want to cut them off. One day you're really sure, like, yes, this person did A, B, C, D to me. I'm sick of it. I spoke up on it a million times. They still don't respect my boundaries. They still act like they don't care about me. So forget it. I'm going to do it. And you pumped up. You ready to go. You're like, yeah, I'm going no contact. I've watched Samyra's videos. I watched Spiritual Whistleblower, Dr. Ramani. I watched them all. Permission to exist. I am going no contact. Then you may go to sleep, and then your conscience start bothering you. Then you wake up and start saying to yourself, am I doing the right thing? Maybe I need some validation. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I gotta go and ask some other people. So then naturally, because you got a big decision, and anytime we got a big decision, you're going into war, whatever it is, we should have some type of counsel on that. Y'all know I got an accent. So you go to your friend, you go to a mentor, you go to another family member, somebody that you trust, and you're telling them, hey, how you doing, Caitlin? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. So you go to these people because you're experiencing guilt, because you're thinking about making one of the biggest decisions of your life, cutting out this narcissistic person. So you go to this person and you're hoping to get some type of validation from them. You're hoping that they're going to back you up and give you all that support you need. But once you get to them, you're going to find out, guess what? You think you're going to get it, Caitlin? You think they're going to get that support to help you go no contact? Right. No, they're not. You know what's going to happen? They're going to start with the gaslighting. Like, oh, increasing the guilt you already feel. They're going to start making you feel bad, telling you stuff like, oh, that's your parent. They gave you life. If you go to somebody spiritual, they're going to talk about the Bible and honoring your mother and father. And you can just go to anybody. They'll be like, oh, that's not natural. They do the gaslighting. It can't be that bad. It must be all in your head. Are you sure you didn't do something to contribute to that relationship? When I first cut off a narcissistic friend, I made the biggest mistake ever of talking to the narc's sister. So of course the sister is sitting up here acting like she don't know her sister like that. But true enough, when me and the narc was around that narc sister, the narc was acting all nice and it seemed like we got along well. But of course, as you know, if you know anything about narcissists, some of them like to do their best evil work when behind closed doors when there's not a lot of people there. So that's how that narc friend was. So the sister didn't get to see all the toxic stuff. So of course the sister's like, oh, y'all have good banter together. You and my sister, it seemed like y'all were best friends. Like, are you sure you don't want to be her friend anymore? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm on the phone justifying myself because I was experiencing guilt. A big part of me knew that I was doing the right thing, but there was still that part that I was struggling with. Y'all, if y'all coming in, if you liking this content so far, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Share the video. So yeah, a big part of me was ambivalent. So I'm listening to her, hoping that I'm going to get support. And that's the thing. You got to look at who you go to. Who are they to this narc or this dysfunctional person? Why would this woman's sister back me up? I wasn't thinking, and that guilt will do that to you. It clouds your judgment. You're not making the best decisions. I was just really wanting some type of help. And of course, going to the sister is something that I was not going to get from her. So yeah, I was just like, over and over for like an hour, explaining myself, justifying my action. She did this, she did that, she did this, she did that. And then after an hour, the sister, and I told this before, the sister actually turned out and said, oh yeah, I have heard other people who were dating her or friends with her say the same thing. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, so you had me on the phone for a whole hour trying to make me think that I'm making the wrong decision, trying to help put that guilt on me, and you know good and well your sister a freaking narcissist. But these people, they're not gonna side with you. And when you go to them, they not gonna give you that help you need. And that's why I have that video, and it's titled something like narcissism. Your friends and your family just don't understand, because most of the time these people don't understand. And this is why I am an advocate for group support or that deals with dysfunctional relationships, toxic relationships, whatever, narcissism, support groups, or even individual therapy, because these people can be more unbiased. Yes, there are some narc therapists, some narc therapy supervisors, I've encountered them, but not everybody is like that. And so you want to try to get, if you're thinking about, before you make that decision to go no contact, I would suggest going to somebody who does not know any parties involved. Whether that's your preacher, if you have a mentor, someone that you trust, if it's a psychologist, whatever. But hey, how you doing, Angela? Thank you so much for joining. And so whoever you go to, make sure that this person can be unbiased. But as soon as you start having this person guilt trip you, talking about, oh, that's your parent, you should stick it out. You got to be the one who endures. God has a special mantle on your back and you can endure this abuse. No, get up and run. Because God has not called you to be abused by somebody. And sometimes I've heard Christians say this. They really think that they're getting like some brownie and bonus points in heaven because they're enduring abuse. No, you're being stupid. No. And I hate to be the one to tell you, but I'm going to say it. You're being stupid if you think that God has made you to be to be beat up and whipped on by somebody you're married to or in a friendship or your family member. No, God is not in heaven like, yes, you're doing me well. Yeah. No, it's not like that at all. So yeah, so you're going to experience that guilt when you're thinking about leaving these narcissistic relationships. Also, another thing you're going to experience, you might experience. Caitlin says, nope, want to keep the cycle going. Yeah, they do want to keep the cycle going. And I don't know, some of them are narcs themselves. You know, even some of the preachers are narcissists. I hate to have to be the one to tell you that your preacher may be a narc too. And so, yeah, they get that supply because they want to keep you, they want to put you in that situation where you're feeling guilty so you can stay there. Like, for instance, I knew somebody I went to and I was telling them when I was getting ready, like, to cut off my mom, and this person was telling me, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you know she loves you. Oh, she's just hard. You know, she's just tough. You know how your mom is. You know, just basically telling me to put up with it. Then I had to think, well, who is this person in my life that's trying to encourage me to stay in this abusive relationship? Oh, it was another person who I allowed, and see, I'm taking accountability for it, who I allowed to misuse me, to get over on me in major ways. So of course, when I went to this person, he gonna tell me that I should stick around with mom. Why? Because if I start wisening up, and this is for you too, some people don't like when you start getting enlightened and understanding what abuse is, manipulation, and you start learning these red flags. They hate it. And you may say, Samyra, why do they hate it? Simple. Because they want to keep power and control over you. They know they're using you too, chances are. And they don't want you to start setting boundaries and enforcing, because setting boundaries is nothing. You can tell a person, don't do this, don't do that, or I'm going to do this. But if you don't follow it up by enforcing that boundary, your boundary is nothing. You might as well not even set it if you're not planning to enforce it. And that's just what it is. So these other scandalous people you got in your life, y'all, they want to keep you down and keep your their foot on your neck too. They're like, oh, if she gets smart, or he gets smart, I ain't gonna be able to borrow money from him and not pay him back. Or, oh, I'm not gonna have them as my free babysitter anymore. I'm not gonna be able to poke fun at them how they look or the decisions they make and laugh at them and make them the butt of the jokes in front of everybody. And they keep coming back. They may start getting smart, not being naive and stupid anymore. They're not gonna just stand here for the abuse. So I gotta make them stay in that other abusive relationship, or they gonna catch on to me. See, that's what they think. Hey, JW. JW says, and many of us learn this lesson way later in life because we were conditioned to accept that abuse. Yes, that is so. Accept the abuse as normal part of life. That's what it is, because we were primed as young kids. And I thank you for that, JW. And that's why a lot of us feel guilty when we're thinking about leaving, because our parents made us feel that we always probably had to walk on eggshells. We couldn't really say and do what we wanted to because of fear of being yelled at, slapped, or they stop talking to us, they ignore us. They do something to punish us immediately if we don't walk the way they want us to walk. The same thing with your friend, you know, because I'm talking about family and friends. The friend may stop calling you as much. You know, they may ignore your texts. They may have an attitude when you come around because they're trying to tell you, bad you, bad you, bad you. And then hoping, because they know that you come from trauma. And so now you probably got that tendency that you want to please other people. You're in tune. You're empathetic. You're an empath. You know how other people feel. Why are you an empath? I don't know. I can't prove this. Probably because you were abused as a child. You learned how to always be looking at people's facial expressions, reading their body language, because as a kid, your life counted on that. You didn't want to make mom or dad too mad because you know they're going to throw that bottle and try to hit you in the head or something like that. So you constantly looking at them like, oh, are they hands balling up? Are they looking like this? Are they scowling, growling, whatever like that? So now you grow up and now you're an empath. And so now you're noticing immediately when something is bad in a relationship because you were trained like that as a child. And so you want to fix and repair things because you're still trying to go after that love that you never got from your caretakers when you were growing up. Caitlin says God loves us way too much to go through that. LOL, that is more like the devil work. Exactly, it is the devil work, and a big part of that is with narcissism is like devil work. And I understand what they say in psychology, oh, that it's a mental disorder. But my thing is, I look at it more spiritual, because these people make a choice to be how they are. They can turn that on and turn it off. So I'm always wondering, is this really a mental illness? When you select your victims, you get pleasure out of seeing people hurt. You choose who you will and won't hurt. Okay, but to me, it's, and that's why I keep my foot on their neck. Even though some people in mental health may think, well, maybe you shouldn't talk like that as a therapist. A narcissist wouldn't want to see you. That's fine, because I'm not the therapist for everybody. I have my personal niche. My niche is dealing with people who've experienced domestic violence, who've experienced childhood trauma. I am going after people who were victims, and I don't care if someone that's narcissistic watches this and feel like I wouldn't see you as a therapist. I wouldn't want to have you as a client. So I don't care. I'm not one of them fake therapists who try to pretend that I'm the therapist for everybody and come see me. No, I'm going to put my foot on your neck, because I know it's a spiritual battle of wickedness. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep screaming it loud. And I don't care who got anything to say about it. But back to the topic, things you should consider before going no contact. So also, you want to deal with, you might experience depression. And this is why I'm saying you want to prepare. Know what you're getting yourself into, you know. Are you ready to deal with some of these feelings? Guilt we've talked about so far. Depression. I'm not saying that everybody who goes no contact experiences depression. We're all different. We all deal with trauma different ways. But you may experience depression. What is depression, you might ask? Over a period of 2 weeks. A person may has to have either one or both of these symptoms: loss of interest in activities that you used to like, or sadness. In addition to there's four more symptoms that will qualify. I'm gonna give a lot of symptoms, but you at least got to have a total of 5 symptoms in a 2-week period, nearly every day, to be considered depressed. You may start feeling sad. You don't want to get out of bed. You know, why is this happening? Because what comes with leaving these relationships, people may get mad at you. Yeah, they will get mad at you because they because they want to dim your light, and they don't no longer have control over you. So now they're upset with you. Family members are calling you. Why are you doing this to your mom and dad? Why are you breaking up the family? Oh, you're wrong. Oh, God is not happy with you. You should be doing better. Oh, you've made a huge mistake. And that could depress somebody. Like, oh my God, I don't want to accept God. Am I going to be in hell? Oh, I'm not going to make it to heaven. Oh, people are thinking I'm bad. My mother or father or my friend is now doing a smear campaign, and everybody's talking about me. People are blowing up my messenger. They're calling me. They're leaving messages all on my social media. They're saying I'm wrong. And some people, it's hard for them to digest that. And if you're dealing with depression because you have gone no contact, don't feel bad about yourself. You know, because we all experience and deal with, like I said, with trauma different ways. You know, some people even become suicidal because it's too much pressure of having everyone turn against them. They may have a best friend and hope their best friend will support them. The best friend knows about the abusive relationships that you've been in, but they may not even give you any support. Everybody around you is telling you you're wrong. You have, in order to survive this of going no contact, you have to get ready to have the times where you're being alone. That isolation where nobody is around to support you. You may notice that you're not even dieting and you're losing weight, or you may be gaining weight, you know, and you're not even, you know, just gaining weight or a significant amount of weight in a short amount of time. You may have trouble focusing, making decisions. Your life is like turning upside down. Why? Because you don't have anybody for you. Yeah, and thank you, Shayla. I'm happy that you all are saying if you've gone no contact, let me know, because I'm trying to get this message out to people who are not not yet gone no contact, but they're thinking about it. And if you all leave your comments and your experiences in the comment section, it can help people when they watch this or come back and watch this, and so they'll know what to expect, so they don't just jump out there and don't know what could come with this. I'm gaining. Yeah, I'm gaining and can't focus. Yeah, it happens like that, and those can be some symptoms of depression if it's also paired with sadness nearly every day, and or loss of interest of activities you used to enjoy almost every day. So depression is usually something you feel more days than not, so nearly almost every day of the week. You may also have lack of energy. You know, you used to could be up on that treadmill, whatever. You got enough energy to do everything you wanted to do. Now you decide to go no contact. You may notice you're lethargic. Other people, another symptom is other people could notice it. This is different from lack of energy. Other people may start to say, wow, you walking with your head down. It look like you can barely move. You know, you got a lot of problems going on. Feeling worthless, feeling bad about yourself, or excessive guilt. Oh, man, for instance, oh man, I went no contact. I'm a bad son. I'm a bad daughter. I make bad decisions. I'm tearing up my family. I'm just messing up everything, you know. All these thoughts of worthlessness. Why? Because you decided to leave that relationship. You may notice that you have some sleep problems. And I'm not saying this stuff to scare you from going no contact. Going no contact was one of the best decisions I ever made. But it was not easy. It was hard. One of the hardest things I ever had to do. I'm happy I got through the storm of it. I didn't experience depression, but I experienced guilt. I definitely did. So yeah, expect that you may be going through some mental health problems. And that's why I said, if you're thinking about going, I already have lined up maybe someone, even if it's not a family or friend, somebody that you can talk to that's unbiased. Again, individual therapy. You can contact me in my about section. You will see the link, the visit book link to book a session with me if you like, or you can also go to other places like BetterHelp online, whatever it is that you want to, but just know that you may need some help. Some places, like I said, even have group support if you're thinking about doing something like that. Another thing that you can experience when you're going, thinking about going no contact is denial. What do I mean about denial? Is that you may start to minimize the abuse that happened to you. You know good and well for the last 10, 5, 20 years, your friend, your family member has just treated you like crap. Had no regard for you at all. Missed all your birthdays. You may be the person going be over and beyond for them. Giving them birthday cards, giving them their children gifts, all kind of stuff. But then when it come to you, they not there for you. Let me see. JW says, I experienced severe depression at first, but with therapy, my depression is starting to dissipate as of lately. But again, it takes time. Yeah, that's a good one, JW. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and that's important. It takes time. You know, some of us, we want to be healed immediately. As soon as we go no contact, the next week, we want to be totally over it, totally healed and on our best life, living our best life and on our best path. No, you have to be patient with yourself. Some things take time to go through. You know, I would say for me, maybe the first year was very hard because I was constantly having a thought like, wow, I really could just cut my mother and sisters off. I really did that. Wow, I'm really out here in the world like alone. You know, you have to deal, you know, to accept that kind of stuff. And again, that's why that depression will come in, because it's like maybe nobody is there having your back. Maybe people decide they don't want to be around you. Maybe your family decides that they're choosing your abusers over you. Maybe your friends decide to cut you off. Maybe they're ignorance toward narcissism and this power and control that these narcs try to exercise over us, they're thinking, maybe starting to think that you're the toxic person. And so they may cut themselves off from you. You may notice when you come around, they whispering, pss, pss, pss. Oh, you know, and Caitlin, I'm going to use you. In my example, you know, they may come around and you know they talking about you because they start whispering as soon as you come around. They probably like, you know, Caitlin, she toxic. She cut off her narc friends. You know, she must be the narc. You know, she all of a sudden talking about narcissism and flying monkeys and using these terms we never heard of before. You know, maybe she just trying to talk about all that negative stuff to throw us off her path, and she really the narcissist. Maybe she really the toxic person. Maybe we need to get back from her. You know, because people that I heard, and hey, you guys, it's 9 of you all in here. Thank you for being here. If you liking this content, don't just sit back and say, oh, I like the content, but go ahead and like it. Give it a thumbs up. I say that because a lot of times I'll get people say, oh, Samyra, I like your work. I like what you're doing and things. But then I see the thumbs up below. And I'm like, if you like it, why won't you hit the thumbs up? If you're getting something out of what I'm doing, why won't you get a thumbs up? Or share the video, or watch the video to the end, or check out some of my other videos. You know what I'm saying? If you like it, show me you like it. Okay, that's just my thought on that. Okay, yeah, so it's like these people may want to get away from you, and that's their right. You know, I'm not saying they're right for doing it, but if they decide that they think you're quote unquote toxic now, let them get away from you. But is it going to hurt like hell? Yes, it's going to hurt. These people are the people that you've been around forever. You've probably bought into the talk that family is all you have, you know? Oh, blood is thicker than water. So, of course, all this condition about family, you don't got nothing if you ain't got family. This has been instilled in our brains forever. So, yes, you're going to be tormented with all this confusion, you know, because we've been told for years. I got to plug up this phone, y'all, before it go dead. But, yeah, we've been told for years is that family is all we know. So, yeah, they're making you feel guilty. And even if they're not making you feel guilty, your own thoughts will start fighting you. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? And again, that's where that denial comes from. Let me read some of the comments. Rosemary, hey Rosemary, thank you for joining us. Went no contact with my sister, so a family member told me to let it go. It's family. Yes, Rosemary, and I got videos on that too. They will tell you to let it go, but these same people won't go and tell your if your sister, they won't go tell her to stop being whatever she is. If she, I don't know if she a narcissist or toxic, whatever your sister is. No shade to you, Rosemary, though. But whatever your sister is, I bet they won't go tell her that. Usually they'll just be when these flying monkeys who come in and want to tell everybody to just be nice. They will go to the toxic person and be like, oh, you should reach out to the person. But what I've noticed is they won't say, stop being a narcissist. Stop being a bully. You stole money. Give that money back and give it with interest. Oh, you took their car without permission? Stop it. Go and apologize. Go do something nice and bring that person some gifts for the inconvenience you did. They won't address any of that because they don't even really care like that. They just want to come in and put a little quick band-aid over it and give you some empty, what is it called? I think platitude, some empty saying, family is all we got. You know, stick together. That's what we do. And then they feel like, oh, they done something, and then they patting themselves on the back. Then they want to just move on, scurry on out their way and go back with their own life. They don't want to deal with stuff under deep. The reason why the no contact stopped. They don't want to deal with that. They don't want to pay for therapy, family therapy. They don't want to do none of that because they really don't care like that. They just want to get in and pretend that the family is beautiful so they can act like to other people like they're the rock of the family, the senior elder of the family who put everybody back together. Yay, look at you. Get that fake stuff out of here. Let's see. Angela said, I was discarded. The narc and flying monkeys hoovered, I think that's how you pronounce it, for 2 years with no response from me. About the 3rd year, I realized the discard was the best thing that ever happened to me. Yes, and I like that you put the 3rd year because that backs my saying up that this takes a while. You know, anytime I meet with people with therapy, and I'm like this too, we all are. I think it's just human nature. We expect to be healed overnight. And it's like, no, do you realize what you just did? You cut off your birth family. That's not an easy step. How many people do you actually know besides yourself goes around cut off their family? Do you know the balls, the courage that takes to be able to do that? Do you understand that was not an easy decision, huh? Because everybody around you is telling you you're wrong. Everybody around you is telling you God's not pleased. Your family isn't pleased. Everybody is using this guilt on you. And because of that, I'm going back to the denial. So everybody is ganging up on you. They don't want you at the family gatherings. They don't invite you probably anymore. And if they do invite you, they invite you just to do some type of family intervention on you. Caitlin says, yep, it's crazy. I have to laugh at insanity sometimes. I already know what's up. Yeah, they invite you because they want to do a family intervention. You're the one that's been abused, and they know that. They know it. But they're going to act like they don't. You know, and they're going to have you come around and then set you up and the narcissist come. The narcissist can come and cuss you out, slap you, try to fight you, all kind of stuff. But then the toxic family members will sit there and be telling you that, oh, you should still make up with them. Knowing good and well that this flying monkey is not about to put up with half or maybe even a third or a teaspoon of the abuse that you put up with. You know, but they want you to, and because of you start asking yourself, oh, maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe I didn't get enough advice from people. Oh, maybe I should go limited contact instead of no contact, because that way at least my family and friends can get off my back and start thinking that I'm a good person again. I'm going to tell you something that I learned from this guy on YouTube. His name is Noah L. Creef. Noah L. Creef. And something he said, I did a consultation with him years ago when I first went no contact. Because even I had to talk to somebody about what was going on. And I was so happy I found him because he was very validating. You know, he's not a therapist, but he has a lot of knowledge about mental health. And he helped me so much. And this technique helped me move further along in my healing journey. He told me that people sometimes develop these mental illnesses because we are so concerned about labels. That I was so concerned about being a nice person that I was developing. I already had anxiety, you know, since I was a little girl, but I was really developing more anxiety since leaving that toxic family and my friends, because I cut them all off about the same time. So I'm telling you, when I cut that blade, baby, I was like getting them all. Some I took a little longer, but I was getting all the narcs out. So you talking about somebody really isolated, because I was cutting them all off. I was like, forget that. This is hard. This hurt. Because you still love some of these people. And that ain't to be mad at yourself. Of course, there were some good times with these people. And they're your family, if they your parents, if they had you. You know, you may love some of these people. So it's going to be hard for you to cut them off. Hey, Josh, how are you? Says same, I cut them all off. Blocked everyone. Yeah. So I went ahead and did that. But, you know, he was saying that we get so caught up, Noah L. Creef, in these labels. So because I wanted to be a nice person, it was hurting me when these people were trying to say I wasn't being nice. Because I'm like, what do you mean I'm not being nice? I'm probably one of the nicest persons you know. I do this, I do that. But he says when you can step away and say, I don't need to be identified as a nice person, then it don't matter when people come and say, oh, you're not nice, Josh. Oh, you cut your family off. You're mean. You're a mean man, Josh. If you don't care, if you're not attached to the label of being nice, you no longer care. You know? Or if you used to be like if you considered yourself the rock of the family, you know, I'm the person that everybody can come to when things are down, and I can build our family up. I give loans, I babysit for free, I do this, I do that, and all this. And then if somebody, and this is how people manipulate you, because they know these labels you have on yourself. So, or how you think about yourself. So they can come around and be like, oh, but you're really not the rock. You know, you're not one that anybody can count on, because if you were, you wouldn't have cut off your family or your friends. You wouldn't have done this, so this doesn't make you a rock. And then if you feel like you're the rock and you're attached to that label, then you get all upset and sad and then depressed. You can't get out of bed after you went no contact, because now the people you still talk to in your family, who are really mostly flying monkeys at this point, you're all like, oh yeah, I am the rock. And now you can't get out of bed. You crying most days at night. You calling off from work because you don't have enough energy to even put your pants on to get to work. You know, you're all messed up because you got this label, you know. Or if people are saying, oh, you're no longer a good person. Yeah. You're no longer a good person. That's a good one, Shayla, being all used up, because that's just what they're trying to do, is to use you up. And I love it, you guys in the contact are talking back to one another, because one thing, even though that sometimes if you're feeling depressed because you left or thinking about leaving, knowing that there is a community of us. Now, true enough, you may never be able to hug one of us. You may never be able to kiss one of us on the cheek, shake our hand, or thank us in person or whatever. But there's a community of us who have teamed up against this, and you're not alone. Yes, physically you may be alone, but that's why I say you may want to find some type of support group in your area that deals with these different type of dysfunctional relationships. Shoot, even if you go to an AA, what is that they called? Survivors of AA, something like that for family. For family members, you may feel that you can relate to what's going on in there, because narc abuse is sort of similar to that too. So whatever you need, but there's a community of us. That's why I say, yeah, they have videos on YouTube about it. There's tons of videos like this, and I tell people my videos that you may see the title and be like, oh, I don't know if that's something I'm dealing with. I would say to watch it anyway, because I always, in any video I give, try to give some step on how to heal. You know, there may be something in that you can use. If you're thinking about going no contact, you've already done it, but you still need support. You never know what you will learn in some of the videos. So not even just mine, but other people like Dr. Ramani, Spiritual Whistleblower, who else? Permission to Exist is somebody else that I like. And there's a lot of people on YouTube. So yeah, so I was going back to that denial. So you start remembering all the good stuff, because yeah, Tyler JTI. Oh, I like Tyler JTI. He's a real good one. He keep his foot on the narc neck. I love him. He talk about a lot more stuff than just narcissism, but like toxic people in general. Yeah, but yeah, he's a real good one too. But yeah, so then you feeling bad because everybody's telling you how horrible you are, and you still need to be considered a nice, loving, godly, spiritual person, a great person. So now you're struggling, you know, in your no contact, because you can't get rid of all these attachments to labels. I no longer need people to think I'm nice. So therefore, if they say I'm not nice, I don't care. Just like, shake it off. Who cares? I don't want to be nice, because in this world people consider nice as stupid anyway. So if people around you telling you how nice you are, they calling you stupid. You need to look at your life and get some boundaries. And I'm just saying that because that's the truth. So if you don't want to be around here getting called nice, no way. If you do, it's a problem, and you need to examine that. Check your boundaries. So yeah, so anyway, now you're like, oh, maybe I gotta go partial contact, because maybe mom and maybe my family and I will like me again. Maybe they'll send me that Christmas card that they've that same box that they had for the last 20 years. Maybe they'll send me one this year, because the year I went no contact, they didn't send me a Christmas card. You know, that's probably what you're saying to yourself. We start loosening our boundaries to accommodate these people, you know. We're like, oh, I want to be accepted. I want to be liked. I want to be loved. Come on here. Stop playing with me. How long have you been waiting on your family to love you? How long have you been waiting on your extended family to show you some respect? How long have you been waiting on these friends of yours to treat you like they do to other friends? You call, they don't call you back for 3, 4, 5 days. Another friend call them, oh, they call them back within a few minutes. You text, you don't get a text back for 2 weeks, and they tell you they suffering from alopecia or something. Any old excuse, they blowing you off, but you like thinking, Tamika just told me you followed up with her text 10 minutes later, but mine 2 weeks later, and you telling me you couldn't text me back due to complications with alopecia. Where they do that at? You wanting these people to give you love and respect because you think they're going to give it to you. Well, guess what? Look at it. I would say, look at it when you're going through that denial. If you are, just look at it like this. You are never going to get from them what you want. These people do not love the same way you love. These people don't have the same morals as you. These people may not have the same spiritual, religious life as you are. And you're upset because you want them to be something that they are not. Yes, thank you, JW. Radical acceptance is accepting people who they are instead of what you want them to be. And that's where that denial kicks in, because you want to accept that your parents are narcissists and they probably don't love you. Oh, I hate to be the one to say it. I know we were grown up to hearing every parent loves their child. Every parent would die for their child. Come on, yeah, right. I was watching a video and I can't remember, these are reaction videos, and one guy is Macmula, M-A-C-M-U-L-A. You should check him out. And another one is called Ghost or Ghost Gang, something like that. And they do reaction videos. And this mom, these men, a group of women were walking down the street and one had her child. These men on a bike came up next to them, jumped off the bike, started chasing the women. The woman with the boy, he was like 4 years old, you could tell. Took off and left her son and left him right there, back there with the men who jumped off these motorcycle bikes. And the little boy was just looking around like, Mom, and he never moved. And it took her, like, she never ended up turning around, coming back. At least we didn't see it. I'm sure she got him eventually. But eventually, after him looking around clueless and lost, he just started walking the way that his mom and the women ran off. So don't tell me every woman gonna die for her kids. Because they could have been there to take that little boy, sell him in the sex trade. Luckily, they were after the women. And just took off and left that little boy. Don't tell me that. I've seen people, mothers, do some crazy stuff for their kids. I've seen that in real life. I was with some people, and I won't go into details. But something happened, and we were all scared. Another person had to jump and cover the baby when the own mother flew like towards to leave out the door. And afterwards, we didn't even know how to address it. Everybody was just looking like, serious? And then she tried to play it off like, oh yeah, my baby, because I was, no, you ran and you left your baby unprotected, and thankful somebody who was closer to your baby had enough sense and instincts to protect whatever, to protect your baby. But no, you left your baby open, you know. But that's another story. But yeah, so again, so I'm gonna move on for that denial. I think, did I say what I wanted to say about it? Oh yeah, so you just basically during that stage are just always trying to, you're minimizing the bad and always thinking about the good times. Oh yeah, we did go to this, my mama did take me to the skating rink. Oh yeah, she cussed me and blacked my eye that day, but at least she took me to the skating rink. So maybe that's a reason why I shouldn't keep up with this no contact and just humble myself and put the family back together like my uncle said I should do. Or with your friend, your friend always pick you up an hour late. No excuse. Don't answer your text. Like, girl, where you at? Why you always late? They don't do that. They do everything, talk about you crazy, make fun of you in front of other people. But instead of remembering all the bad stuff and the reason why you with no contact in the first place, you start psyching yourself out like, yeah, they always pick me up an hour late, but at least I got a friend. Not everybody out here got friends. I guess I got to be thankful. Do you know how much low self-esteem that is? Yeah, cognitive dissonance. How much low self-esteem that is just to keep putting up with all this crazy behavior? Or you got another friend who always talking behind your back. You know, but this friend may be funny. So you, instead of reminding yourself how many times this friend talked about you behind your back and it got back to you. You told the friend to stop, but they won't stop. They don't care. And then you start saying, well, at least she funny though. Not everybody got a funny friend. At least she answered the phone when I pick up. Some of my friends don't pick up, so I should be thankful for that. Really? But see, that denial is what's going to get you stuck in them abusive relationships. You got to accept that your friend is who they are. Because if you don't, it's just like the cycle of abuse and domestic violence. It keeps going over and over and over. And you know the reason Why you have this denial is because it's a manipulation tactic that abusers use. Y'all, I'm going to put you up on a little information here. So in order for you to stay in an abusive relationship, the person has to be nice sometime. That's where the crazy making and the confusion comes in. Because if they were just horrible every day, all day, you wouldn't stay. But to confuse you, they sprinkle in a little nice. And the more they get to know you and see that you're not leading, they start to think, oh, you're weak. They're superior to you. You deserve to be abused. So now they still sprinkle some breadcrumbs of goodness on you every now and again. But they know they ain't got to sprinkle too much because you don't love yourself. You don't think well of yourself. You put the needs of others before yourself always. You're always last. You never know where you want to go to eat. You always say, wherever you want to eat, I want to go. You know? Just like the woman, what is that? The original Coming to America, when Eddie Murphy's character was getting married to that beautiful black woman. I can't remember her name. And he kept asking her opinions, and she just kept, whatever you like, something like that. And he like, what? Every time he asked her something about herself, it's whatever you like. And then he was like, oh, so you really just gonna do whatever? And he was like, okay, bark like a dog. She like, roof, 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 roof. And he like, a big dog. She like, roof, 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 roof. Then he like jump on one leg, and she like, roof, 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 roof. And that's how the narcissist plays with us. They see that we don't appreciate and respect ourselves. So they have us doing all kind of crazy stuff. Have us out here looking bad to other people. Other people looking at us like, wow, you really still hanging around. They may not say it. Because some people like to stay in their own lane and don't like to get in other people's business, whether it's good or bad. And I can understand that. I can respect that. But they sit back and look like, dang, really? You barking like a dog? Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. A big dog, roof, roof. They're like, really? You allowing people to play games with you like that? And so we're thinking, so we go back to thinking of, instead of looking at this person as, yeah, they have good qualities sometimes, but the bad outweighs the good. This is the good, it's down here. The bad is all the way up here. But we're putting more attention on the good when clearly the bad is outnumbered the good. And that makes us feel bad. Well, they're a good person sometime. You got to look at the person in their whole totality. If the bad is outweighing the good, there's a high chance that you need to save yourself, rescue yourself, and move on. Have you ever read the book A Child Called It? No, I have not read that book. I don't think I've heard of that one, Caitlin. Let me see. JW said the people most interested in your business will likely be the ones to spread it. Oh, yeah, that's why they like to be in your inbox, pretending that they're your favorite uncle, your favorite cousin, your favorite this one. They like to text you and all kind of stuff and tell you what other people saying. But truthfully, it's them saying it too, and they're on the phone trying to pretend to be the one who understands you, the one who supports you, and they're the ones that's going back telling everybody. So be careful with those people. If you don't mind playing games with those flying monkeys and those type of people, you can mislead them if you want. Make up some stuff and just see how they spread it. just start making up some random stuff and let them go if you want to have some fun. But if you got better things to do, don't even waste your time. All right, Camille says it takes a lot of therapy to love and appreciate ourselves. We've been told since childhood that we were bad. Yeah, it takes a lot of love and a lot of therapy to get to that place. Especially if you were always told that you were the bad person in the family, that if you would just get your act together, everybody in the family would be much happier and healthier. So yeah, because sometimes people will just tell you, oh, well, you need to love yourself. And I think I used to just throw that around too. Or, or saying, oh, if I just love myself. But the thing is that's just so easy to say, but what does that even really mean? Oh, you just got to love yourself. What does that even mean? Like, what does that is so much more that you have to break down under that. It's having boundaries. It's also enforcing boundaries, learning to put yourself first. Also learning to speak up for the things you like. Because sometimes people will test you. This is why I mentioned about, knowing where you want to eat. Because sometimes that can be looked like as a weakness in character. If you are always like, oh, I don't know where I want to eat. You choose where I want to eat. And if somebody said, well, what movie you want to go to? I don't know what movie I want to watch. You choose the movie. No, sometimes you need to know, you know. Then you can negotiate with people, but make sure you know something. Don't just be there always as a potential target, not knowing what you like, what you dislike. You got to be able to speak up for that, to say it, because if people are testing you to say, oh, you never care, you never have an opinion about nothing, you're a good person to get as a lick, to take advantage of, to scheme on, to abuse, so people do that. Oh, so something else. Intermittent reinforcement. Yeah, that's what that's called. Giving reinforcements, just giving it some time, but not, and then taking away other times and things of that nature. So yeah, these people, the only reason they sprinkling the niceness on you is just to keep you confused and keep you in those toxic relationships. This person is not good, because you got to ask yourself, would a good, nice person be stealing money from you? Would they be smearing your name all around the community, telling people how horrible you are? Would they be lying on you, talking about you're just the worst thing ever? They've done nothing but love you and you still cut them off. Would they be doing that? Would they be so jealous of you, competing with you? You get a new boyfriend, now they trying to take your boyfriend to prove that they're better. And this could even be your own mother. Or it could be your father trying to flirt with your girlfriend or something like that. Or your friends come around, your dad is probably there, and instead of excusing himself from the room, trying to take over your friends because they're jealous of you, always trying to compete against you. Love it. They play down your accomplishments, right, JW? They love it if you do something that looks like you failed. They rejoice. Like I said, it's funny that I write books, because I tell you, my grammar is not the best. But I tell you, one thing about me is I know how to pay somebody to help with the grammar. I write all my books myself. I don't got no ghostwriters. That is all me. And matter of fact, if you don't have my books, go ahead and get them. You can get them at Amazon. TellSamyra Alexander, I Should Have Worn a Curtain, a novella. It's part 1 and a part 2. And also my full first-length novel, Road to Malevolence. Again, you can find those in my about section on my page. But yeah, so I will get me some proofreaders, and I will get me what else is that called, editors to help, and I have people to do my book covers, because I realize what I'm good at and what I'm not. And I say all that to say is that I would have people competing with me, like a family member who was preying on my downfall. Like one time I didn't do well on some paper I written because of grammar issues. And I told my family member, and I was upset about this. I was in grad school and I needed to get my grade up. And the person in my face was just like, you can't write good grammar. So why would I have guilt about leaving a person like that? Which I had a little. Well, she was good this one day when she gave me a ride. Forget that. Because the bad outweighed the good. So we have to start accepting these people for who they are. Let me see. Have you considered podcasting? I guess, are you talking to me? Oh, podcasting? No, I haven't. Let's see. Camille says a meeting like AA. Oh, you're talking about the CODA? Is that CODA meetings? Yeah, they have the meetings like that. I've never been to any of those meetings, but I heard those meetings are good. And you know what? If you don't like a meeting, you never have to stay. So yeah, you can go and check these meetings out and just see. You may like it. You may learn some stuff from it, and it may be that support that you need. Let's see. Camille said, CODA helped me a lot. You will find most people in the meetings had bad parenting too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about these groups, because a lot of us, if you've been abused, even if your parents were alcoholics, drug addicts, or whatever, you're going to find a lot of that similar to children who grew up with narcs. It just is, even with domestic violence, because the similarities is that a lot of those parents were probably narcs anyway. And sometimes the drug and alcohol abuse, the parent won't be a narc, but they will, when they start drinking or get on the drugs, they have narc-like tendencies or characteristics. They probably not a full-blown narc, but with drugs or alcohol, it does make them really self-serving. They put their needs over others. They exploit others. You know, it's all about them. They could care less about stepping on the other person just to get their needs met. You know, and you will see that in narcissism too. That's why I say that there's similarities. So yeah, a person may benefit from those meetings. So yeah, just getting back to it, it's not easy. You know, if when you want to go to no contact, you have to do your research. Even if you can't talk to other people face to face, you know, it's good that you watch videos like this so you know what to expect. Also, fear and anger. You may experience that if you're thinking about going no contact. Why? Because if you're replaying in your mind why you want to go no contact, you're thinking about all the evil crap that these people have done to you over and over for so many years. Now, but you're like, yeah, that's where that anger comes in, because now you're like, really? I was showing you love, and this could have been a person you were in a romantic relationship, like you were giving them your all. You probably would have given them your last. They were sick, you made some chicken noodle soup for them. You know, you went all out for these people. You may have called off work, helped them bury loved ones. You've done a lot of stuff to support these people, and of course it's natural for you to feel anger. You know, a lot of times when I'm meeting with people in therapy, anger is one of the emotions that it takes a lot of time to get some of them to admit it, because growing up in these toxic environments, we were taught that a lot of us, that the only emotions you could have was happiness. Even if the parent was spitting in your face, they were expecting you to wipe it off and, thank you for spitting at me, mother. I'm so glad to have a mother, even if you spit on me, but at least I have a mother, because one day you're going to be dad and one day I'm going to break down and cry. So yes, you spit on me, but it's okay because you're my mom. You know, so you're going to have this anger because you realize that you've been duped all these years. You've been giving your all to people who could care less about you. You probably would have died for these people, and they don't care about you at all. You went all out, and they consistently showed you that they wouldn't even do a tiny bit for you, and you've done all this for them. And this is what they're giving you: crumbs, little breadcrumbs, and you've accepted those crumbs. So you got to take personal responsibility too sometimes, especially when you're older and you're grown. You know, when you're a child, you're a teenager, it's kind of hard. But yeah, so all kind of stuff is going on with you. Let's see. Caitlin says them being mean is their true character, though. It is. They only breadcrumb you and do nice stuff to keep you confused, to keep you holding on, to dangle that carrot in front of you like, maybe if you clean up the house, be my servant, let me rape you, let me smack you, let me do everything. I'll give you that little crumb of love again. Yeah, who they truly are is that evil. A nice person is consistently nice and may have their bad days, but it's different than a narcissistic person. Yeah. And Caitlin, I'm happy you mentioned that. And that's one thing, even though y'all know, anybody who watch my channel know I love me some Robert Greene. Yes, I do. The author of the 48 Laws of Power, and other books like Laws of Human Nature. But one thing I disagree with him about is that in the Laws of Human Nature, he says that everybody is a narcissist and that we all need to accept this about ourselves and stop trying to act like those of us who deny that we're narcissists, that we're like trying to put ourselves up on this pedestal and we're not really looking at our dark nature, and that we are trying to be better than we are. And I do not agree with that, because if you're going by the diagnostic manual of that therapists or psychiatrists, you know, people, anyone in the helping fields use to make a mental health diagnosis, you would see that there's a certain amount of characteristics that a person needs to be considered a narcissist. you know, and I think it's about 9, maybe, I'm not sure, I have to look. It's about maybe 9 characteristics a person has to have, for instance, to be considered a narcissist. So it's not one characteristic. Just because a person lacks empathy does not mean that they're a narcissist. Or just because that person is exploitive in relationships, meaning always trying to get over on a person, does not mean that that person is a narcissist, you know. Just because a person is entitled does not mean that they're a narcissist. They have to have a list of certain characteristics, and I try to get that to so people can understand, because even on my comment section, and I'm not saying this to be mean, that I had mentioned my father and I said that he left, you know, and after I was like 5 or 6 and I didn't see him, and someone came behind me, and again, I'm not throwing any shade, I appreciate most comments, but the person said, well, Samyra, your father left you and never looked back, that means he's a narcissist. And I didn't respond, but no, that does not. He could have been a narcissist, but at 5 or 6 years old, I didn't have any concept of narcissism. So I'm not just going to come out to say a person is a narcissism if I don't have a relationship with that person to actually see if they meet those criteria. So only having one symptom of leaving me as a child does not mean that he was a narcissist. It doesn't. And I try to say that because people a lot of times will just throw that around like, oh, this one is a narcissist, that one is a narcissist, and that's not the case at all. So yeah, to me, when Robert Greene says that we're all narcissists, it minimizes the abuse that those of us who dealt with narcissists experience. Because if everybody's a narcissist, then that's like saying, oh, well, it's not such a bad thing. You know, well, we can't really say they were mean or evil, cruel for being abusive, because everybody's a narcissist, really. So what is to it? Okay, they're a narcissist, so what? You know, no, I'm holding people accountable. You know, and unfortunately, I don't think Robert Greene does that when he talks, just throws up around, oh, and we're all narcissists, we're all oh, no, according to the DSM-5, no, we're not. A person can have some traits of narcissism, meaning instead of meeting the full criteria, they could have maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 of the symptoms. That means they have traits of narcissism. They're not a full-blown narc. So no, everybody is not a narcissist, and I'm going to continue to spread my truth. So to put these people accountable, because they can control and turn on like a light switch. They can turn on the good and turn it off, turn it on. And if they expose, they hate to be exposed because they have a really need to be seen as great, or to be seen as this really something, and they really care a lot. We all care to some extent what people think of us, but they really care a lot of what other people think of them. So by us shining this light upon them, we get to expose them. And then if people are seeing this, you know how counsel culturally is, people can start counseling some of these narcs and standing up to them and saying, no, what you're doing to your child is wrong. What you're doing to this person is wrong. Cut it out. We don't behave like this in our family. We don't behave like this in our group of friends. If you continue to bully this person in our friend group, you will be excommunicated. You cannot come around. You cannot come to our family gatherings. You are not allowed until you come and make this right with that person. And make it right in front of the family and show and prove before we allow you back into our circle. So this is why I distinguish between a narcissist and a non-narcissist and shedding light on it. So with all due respect to my hero of nonfiction, Robert Greene, not all of us are narcissists. And I want to say, just because we shed the light on narcissism does not mean that we're saying we're any better than these people. We are all flawed. You know, we all make mistakes, but there's a difference between people who get pleasure out of hurting someone else, who will do anything they can to win. They like to see you feeling bad about yourself. They like to see you in pain. That gives them energy, and it makes them happy to see it. They like to destroy your relationships. They like to smear you in front of others to make people think that you're the problem, that you're crazy, that something is wrong with you. You know, that is not normal, and it's not right. and it needs to be addressed. So again, we're not saying that we're better. And if you're thinking about going no contact, just know that people will throw out all these type of things at you to make you stay in an abusive relationship. Oh, you think you're better than this family? You think you're too good for us? Oh, now you don't want to be around the friend group. Oh, don't you know by you going no contact with Debbie that now that's going to make us this friendship real hectic, because now we can't all go out together because we want to still go out with Debbie, but then we want to go out with you. So now we got to do two different break up the group, and you're just causing all these problems, and you should just come back. Ignore Debbie. You know how Debbie gets, but they won't stand up to Debbie, but they're going to tell you to shut up and ignore her and just sit through it, through the abuse, and just fake laugh and just come around anyway. And we're just gonna keep let Debbie be the bitch and crazy weirdo goofy she is, and but you just deal with it because you're made like that. You're nice. You're nice. Oh, and you're forgiving. You're forgiving too. So you can deal with the bitch Debbie because you're nice and you're a good girl. That's the kind of crazy stuff that they do. And some of us have allowed it. Yeah. So, yeah, of course you're going to be angry because you realize that you sat through all this abuse and you didn't do anything. You never stood up. You probably didn't stand up to Debbie. Or if you did stand up to people like these narcs, they kept showing you that they didn't care about you standing up, and they kept violating your boundaries and pushing hard against your boundary, and you kept going back for more, showing them that they could, and now you're feeling bad. That's where some of that anger comes from when you leave these narcissistic relationships, feeling bad because you're like, oh my God, I really did just endure this. Why didn't I cut these relationships off sooner? Why did I stay so long? Why did I allow myself to be victimized? Why didn't I slap the crap out of Debbie that day she threw that drink in my face? Y'all, this is one of my favorite drinks. What is this? The Mountain Valley of Sparkling Water White Peach. I get this from Sprouts. I don't know if y'all got a Sprouts. Y'all got a Sprouts where y'all live? They sell them at Whole Foods too. But yeah, so that's where that anger comes from. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I know I was very angry when I first went no contact because I couldn't believe that evil was returned for the good that I tried to give these people. I couldn't understand what about me made me be the outcast. I was also angry that my mother had chosen her other two children since they were born and just sort of shoved me out the way and treated me like I was trash. I couldn't understand that, you know, because I'm like, well, what was that about? Who does that? Why was I the one that was targeted? You know, so you having all these different emotions, and at once, and I have to catch myself, because even today, like, if I don't stop and control my mind, my thoughts, they'll go real crazy and can get dark because I've experienced so much abuse. Like, I'll start have thoughts of like beating up somebody, and I'm not even a violent person like that. But just thinking about all the years of abuse and the things that's happened to me, a lot of it that I allowed because I didn't stop it until it was way too late. And the more you allow people to abuse you and disrespect you, the more common you become to them, and the more they'll keep abusing you because they see that they can do it. People gonna try to get over on whoever they can, and if they see that you're acting weak, of course they're gonna get over on you. Why not? They got a bad day at work, they come home and go off on you, smack you around, do whatever, cuss you out. Why? Because they know they can get away with it. It's simple. Power and control. That's the same with the narcissist. Why they did everything they did to you? Simple. Power and control. You know, oh, why did they treat me so bad and the other one's better? Simple, power and control. It's just like that domestic violence wheel. You can Google that and you will see it at the center of all the domestic violence, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, isolation. At the middle of domestic violence is all about power and control. The same thing with narcissistic abuse. People will say, well, why did they do this to me? No matter what reason, what you say, the answer is always going to be power and control. Oh, well, why did they text me this and say this and make me feel this way? Power and control. That's why they did it. Oh, but why did they do power and control? Oh, but they also did this on my real what? Power and control. It is that simple. This is what these people wanted, right? And it hurts to know a big part of the anger you may experience or may be experiencing is to know, like somebody just gave me a good thought. JW was saying to Camille, we never truly know what is in our friend. Yeah, one thing that I was thinking with that is that some of these people, I think the reason that the anger comes is because a person may not have truly been our friend, and we start to see that. Like, oh, wow, this person was just with me to use me, to get whatever it is that they wanted from me. They didn't really like me like that. Oh, now I'm angry because I've been vulnerable with this person. I told this person my deepest, darkest secrets. I told them about the abuse I suffered, the DV, whatever it is you may have told these people. You know, the abortion you may have had, whatever it is, you know, you've been in foster care, whatever. And you realize that these people didn't care about you. They were gossiping behind your back. They were laughing behind your back. Of course, you're upset and you're angry. It's natural. So don't get mad at yourself. Even your family members, you may start feeling angry because you're like, wow, this person never did love me. Do you know how hard that is to accept that your parent does not love you? I tell you, that was one of the most heartbreaking things, but it was also one of the most cleansing. I had to cry that out. It was a church service. This lady, I had gone to the front. This woman didn't know me, didn't know nothing about me. She didn't even go to our church. She was only there for one day. I went up there and she prayed for me. And she told me, she said, your family, she said, they have done you wrong. She said, these people have hurt your heart. She said, but one day, God, she said, God is going to do something in your life that your name will be known. And these people who did you like that are going to come back and they're going to try to make it good with you, you know? And I tell you, and she was like, don't hold resentment in your heart with them. And I don't hold resentment toward them, but I tell the truth about it. And to some people that are ignorant, they mistake that for resentment because I'm telling my truth and I'm sharing it to help other people, because there's a community of us out here who've experienced abuse, trauma, and need to know that you can overcome it. And people will try to make you feel bad about yourself, but you can't make me feel bad about it because I understand that I'm doing what I'm doing is right. But yeah, so this woman was able to help me with that, and she had laid hands on me to pray for me. And the next thing I know, I just bawled over. I was embarrassed because it was like I couldn't control it, and just crying and screaming because I had got my cleansing and my deliverance that day. Praise be unto God, because I had to let that anger and that pain out. You got to find you some type of outlet. Whatever it is, if you're spiritual, fasting and praying for your healing. And also getting counseling, like I said, as well, individual or group counselor, or both if you can afford it. Or sometimes there's free services someplace. Writing. You know, go into your creativity. Some people, you may journal your pain to get all that out, because you got to find a way to get it out. And going to your friends and your family may not be the answer, because these people, a lot of them don't understand it. They worship mothers. They love their mothers. They will probably die for their mothers. They wish a person would say something crazy about their mother. They're going to be turning over tables and going crazy and ready to go to jail, even if they ain't got a bond. That's how much they love their mother. So they're not going to understand you. So you can't go to them, you know. And back me up on this if y'all know it's true. Have you tried to go to people, your family and friends? Did it turn out like you expected? You probably left feeling worse than when you got there. So these people, you can't go to them. They don't understand it. And you can be mad at them if you want to, but I don't know, is that really fair? Especially we live in America in this mother worshiping society. It's probably like that in most places around the world. All of us were groomed to don't question the mother. You see that Mother's Day is way more popular than Father's Day. People could care less really about Father's Day. It's like, oh, I always forget what day it is. Not that I celebrate either, but it's like Mother's Day. You always hear people around the office, oh, what are you doing for Mother's Day? Oh, what's going on for Mother's Day? I can't even tell you how many times in my whole years, over 20 something years of working, have I heard somebody going on about Father's Day. Maybe twice, once. So, and a lot of times, excuse me, people got a lot going on their plates, and they don't want to hear about trauma and abuse. And this is another thing. I didn't add this to my list of things to talk about, but also when you're going no contact, consider that you're going to have to, like I said, an outlet. You reading, writing, whatever it is that helps you. Are you an artist? Do you like to sing? Do you like to work out? Do you like to eat healthy? You know, what is your thing? You got to have some type of thing to put your passion and all these feelings into, because people don't want to hear about the abuse. You know, if every time you go around somebody, you're like, yeah, you know, I'm no contact with my mom, and my mom did this, and my dad did this, and my ex-friend did this, and my ex-boyfriend did this, and they would do me like this, and they were always doing me wrong. Sometimes because you need to vent and you haven't let it out. People this stuff, and sometimes a bunch of vultures will just listen to you because now they know how to get over on you. You know, the people who want to get all the details of how you were abused. You know, they just looking to turn that around on you and use you. And then some of them are like, you don't even know if they're narcs, because I will go around sometimes and you'll just hear people, they don't even know you that well, and they're telling you all about their trauma and their abuse. And I'm not talking about a therapy relationship. You know, it could just be anybody. Sometimes you meet new people and all they want to talk about is their trauma, their abuse. That gets draining. It gets draining, and probably nobody is telling you this, but your friends and stuff like that, and your spouse and your children, adult children, they probably don't want to. I'm going to say it's probably a 90-something chance percent they don't want to hear about it. You know, and then we've already cut off so many people. You may be feeling isolated after going no contact. If you still got some people that's hanging on to you, you know, you don't want to push them away because you're always talking about your trauma. Yeah, Angela, a good one. It's best to vent to your therapist. Yeah. And sometimes people get mad and they're like, well, that's my friend, and they should understand that I got a lot of feelings of anger, and I'm depressed because I went no contact. They should be able to listen. Well, yeah, maybe a person gonna listen a few times, but who want to be around somebody that all they got to do is talk about their trauma? And you can tell these people, because sometimes it's like they barely listening to you. You can be talking, y'all can be at the pizza place like, oh, what we gonna get for pizza? Oh yeah, there's the cheese here is real good, the thick cheese. And next thing they like, yeah, I remember thick cheese. That day I was in the refrigerator looking at cheese, and my mother came and smacked me, and she was like, you bitch, I hate you, you look like your daddy. And the person across from you like, what? I'm talking about cheese and pizza. Now we talking about trauma. Or your friend is with you and you just went no contact. Y'all looking at clothes and stuff, and you like, oh, I love these jeans. These jeans would be so cute on you, Susie. And then all of a sudden, Susie like, oh man, those jeans just triggered me. I remember my mom said I was too skinny to wear jeans. She said I looked like a little fool wearing those jeans, and people were going to call me stupid. My mom always calling me names. She always doing that kind of stuff to me. That's why I went no contact. You know, and then your friend probably like, oh my God, here we go again. It's like there's only so much garbage or something that we can dump on other people. And it's like, you gotta understand, I know you're hurting because you've already gone no contact. You're thinking about it. But you gotta stop this, throwing it on your other people. And then if you're wondering, why do I keep getting used? Why do I keep getting used? Because you're training people on how to use you. That used to be me. I didn't know I met a narcissistic friend. I should have known because I had lived in this place, and she lived there 2 years. I tried to speak to her twice, and she was like, act like she ain't see me. So the day when I was walking, one day she stops me and was saying out her window, hey, I see you going to the park and all the time. You lost weight. She was like, my boyfriend always say you lost weight and stuff. And now I have not ever talked to her boyfriend. Now this should have told me something was wrong, because they were watching me. They were watching me. She's like, yeah, my boyfriend commented you lose weight. Now I'm like, why is her boyfriend? This is how we overlook red flags. Now I'm thinking about it like, why is her boyfriend commenting to her about me losing weight? And she was smaller than me. Weird. So, but yeah, of course I didn't put all this together until it was too late. So but my antenna went up, like thinking, oh, you should just ignore her like she ignored you and keep walking. But here go the thing. I got caught up on not wanting to be mean. That label. Fear of being thought of as mean made me step into a crazy, chaotic friendship or associateship, whatever it was. She talking about the neighbor who she worked with before and all this kind of stuff, talking about all the neighbors. But then I'm thinking, oh, was she fun? She liked to watch those scary, what is those? The First 48 and Discovery Channel. What is that? Investigation Discovery about all the serial killers and stuff. And I would watch that with her. And I like that about her, because when I watched it by myself, I would have nightmares and be scared. So it was good that I could watch it with somebody else over at her place. But the thing is I ignored all these red flags. And then something happened, me and her end up like falling out. Because I was seeing how she was. She would go like sometime months of not even returning my call. And then she'll come back like a month later talking about, oh, my thyroid condition was acting up. And I wasn't talking like to nobody or anything, but I'm feeling better. So she did that like twice. And then I'd be like, oh, okay. And I just go back to like nothing had happened. So, these people like this. And she knew she could do that with me. Why? Because I don't think me and her went walking twice before I told her, oh yeah, I don't talk to my mom, I don't talk to my sisters. And then a narc friend that I used to be roommates with, she did this, I don't like her now, we don't talk, this one did that to me, I'm so sick of people always abusing me. Everybody I meet out here in LA is users. I mean, I was just going on and on about all the foul people I met, and she was just sitting there like the narc she was that I didn't know at the time, soaking it all in. So I had given her the whole, blueprint of how to manipulate and use me. Okay? Definitely did. Why? Talking too much. Talking too much. And I see that a lot with people who experience trauma and narcissistic abuse. Talking too much, cannot stop talking about the trauma. Cannot. And it's a bad thing. You have to be able to, like I said, find you some outlet. Get you some creativity going. Get you some support groups and your therapist, because you don't want to just keep on setting yourself up for these abusive relationships. Because you may be saying to yourself, why is it I go from relationship to relationship and all of them are toxic, all of them are just horrible, there's no good people in the world? And it can be a little more challenging to find the decent. I can say that. I'm not going to lie there. But if you're always going all these toxic relationships, the common denominator is yourself. And so I'm going to end with this piece of it here. It's talking about, I'll talk a little bit about fear. The reason why when you're thinking about going no contact, you may experience fear because you may be financially dependent on whoever, on this the narcissistic friend, narcissistic mom, father, sister, brother, whatever. So the key there is trying to get yourself, before you cut off the relationship, getting this, stacking up, saving if possible, because it can be very hard to save. I'm not gonna lie, some people just be acting like everybody should just be saving, but in LA the rent is probably 40% of your salary, so good luck on saving. I'm not out here selling nobody no dreams. I'm saying if you're living with these narcs or these people, and you're splitting bills and things like that, that's a good thing, because it allows you to possibly save more money. So you can save and try to be financially secure. It may take you getting 2 jobs so you can leave and not have that fear that you're not going to be able to make it alone. Because sometimes I talk to people, they have narcissistic parents and they want out of the relationship and they're fed up, but they're still living with the narc. And the narc loves power and control. So if you're under their roof, of course they're going to be treating you crazy and toxic, and you're trying to stand up for yourself and put up all these boundaries, but you're dependent upon this person financially. So the best thing to do is to get your paper up, however you can do that, so you can get your own. Because you can't be all tough and trying to do all these great things in somebody else's house, especially if they're a bully and they about to fight you back. You probably just gonna make it work. So you need to get your money and get on up out of somebody else's house. You know, it's kind of hard to be complaining on somebody and you living with them. You got to get your own. Even if that's getting to a homeless shelter, been there, done that. And I ain't telling you nothing I haven't done myself. Or going to moving in with other people, getting you some roommates until you can do better on your own, getting more than one job, whatever you can, so you don't have to worry about that fear. There's also a natural fear of being alone, because like I said earlier, that people may start cutting you off and looking at you like you the problem. And they do that as a punishment, thinking that maybe if they can make you feel bad enough about yourself, that you will go back to that narcissist, and then everybody can pretend that you're one big happy family or one big happy friend group, however you want to look at it. They will do that. And so you may notice that now, oh, they've tapped into your fear of being alone. You don't like to go to the grocery store by yourself. You don't like to go to the movies by yourself. You scared what other people gonna think about you. You know, those are things you got to think about before you go no contact. Are you willing to put up with this? Because, see, that's the thing. I'm putting you up on game because I've already been no contact. I know what comes with it. But you got to ask yourself, out of all these things I told you that could come with no contact, are you willing to suffer? Because if you're not, you probably want to stay in your abusive relationship, because you're going to have to be willing to suffer. And it's going to be painful as hell some days. But you're going to have to keep on keeping on. That's the best way I can say. But are you ready for what comes with this? So yeah, fear of being alone. Fear of what others are going to say about you. Can you handle the smear campaign? Is it tough? Yeah, it's tough. Everybody spreading lies about you, putting dirt on your name. Yeah. Angela says, I now enjoy my own company the most. Right. And that takes some time. It may take more time for others, especially if you're used to being the life of the party. If you're more extroverted, you love the family support. You love being the person who helps plan the holiday parties. You love helping with the family reunions. You love doing friend birthdays where the narc and everybody would come and stuff. And now you don't have that anymore. You're used to going out with drinks with your family and friends. Now you don't have that anymore. So what are you going to do? You could make new friends, but that will take a little time. You may still have to deal with some periods of isolation, you know? And with that fear, it's just like what I would say to help you overcome that is taking better care of yourself. Eating foods that you know that your body does with. You know when you eat something, like for me, if I eat gluten, I'm itching and my legs and everything, ankles swelling up, too much water retention, all kind of crazy stuff. So you got to know what works for you. You know, walking, exercising, whatever it is, taking care of yourself. Like I got my nails done, my feet done. They pulled out something that looked like a cheese grater for my feet. I felt so embarrassed. The man didn't even speak English, but I looked down at the cheese grater he was doing my feet. I was like, oh, and I started laughing. He just looked up. He was like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, I think that's the only English word he knew, so I was embarrassed. But y'all, at least I got the feet done. But I don't know. The foot, y'all know the callus remover. He was like, I'm like, oh my God, so embarrassed. Anyway, but you got to do something to help get yourself well, because you're going through a hard time, whether it's a full body massage, something you can do, get your scalp massage or something, because you're going through a lot. You need something. Get you some new music, chill out, you know, have some time to rest, whatever it is. Listen to some ASMR for sleep, for relaxation. There's a lot of things you can do. Also, what I like to tell people is thought stopping. I've talked about this before. It takes time, but it works. But you have to be consistent, because you may have, because you're thinking about leaving this, going no contact, these repetitive thoughts of guilt, of sadness, replaying the abuse. If you don't fight your thoughts back, and it's like a real fight, whatever, with your thought, you're in a battle. You have to fight it back with thought stopping. You're having these thoughts that's making you feel sad, guilty, anxious, depressed, whatever it is. You have to say it out loud or in your head loud. If nobody's around you and you're having those thoughts, you just simply say, stop. Every time you have those thoughts that make you feel negative, you say it, stop. If somebody's around you, you do it in your head. Then you go back to ground yourself in the present moment. What were you doing before the thought stopping? If you was reading a book, go back to reading your book. If you were praying, go back to praying. If you were going for a walk, focus on the scents that you smell on the walk. Focus on the flower. Stop and smell a flower. What does it smell like? Taking the environment around you. You know, feel your arms, you know, as they swing as you walk, you know. Is your neck and shoulders relaxed? If not, roll them. Thought stopping, yes, it works very well, but you have to practice. Sometimes I'll tell clients that they do it one time and tell me it didn't work. And I said, well, what do you think? You can't just do it once. You have to. How do I know thought stopping works? Because even when I was sort of like limited contact, I didn't even know it was a word back in the day. When I was limited contact with my mom, I would constantly review the abuse and say to myself, oh yeah, if she did that, I should have did that. Man, I was stupid. I should have said this instead. I kept replaying and reimagining stuff. Oh man, if she say that again when I talk to her, I'm going to say this time to check her and put her in a place. Oh, if my sister say this, I'm going to say this. And I was doing that so much, I'm telling you, I was like frazzled my head, hard to concentrate. I would blank out for like 20, 30 minutes or more, replaying all this negative stuff. Did this work for me? No, it didn't. What was the outcome? Oh, I felt even worse about myself. I felt even more stupid. How could I have let all this go on for so long? Why didn't I stand up? Why didn't I fight more? Thought stopping. Stop. Your brain is going to make you feel, oh no, you need to replay these situations out, because if it happened again, you need to know what to do. No, you replay it out and how to stand up for yourself just a few times. But your brain will make you think you got to keep doing the same thing over and over, every day, every day, every day. And you're noticing, check your temperature. Is it making you feel better? If it's yes, we'll keep on. If it's not, do the thought stopping. Oh, having the thought, for instance, oh, yeah, my mom did this to me. Stop. And then ground yourself. Yes, grounding helps you come back to the present moment, because I was so much in the past, you know, and then wonder why I was feeling sad sometimes. My thoughts were in the past, or anxious about the future. Oh, what's going to happen if I talk to my mother or this person that day? That's in the future. Grounding, and you can look it up on Google. So it's no excuse not to have techniques for healing. We got Google, we got internet, and like I tell people, like, well, I don't know if I said it before. Take notes sometime when you're watching these videos. Go back and watch older videos you watched before, because you may get something that you missed before. Because I try to drop a lot of healing techniques in all my videos that I make. So yeah, come back to the present moment. After you're doing the thought stopping immediately, what were you doing before that? You know, were you coloring in an adult coloring book? Go back to coloring. Look at the colors as you color. You know, look at every color. Look at the texture. How is it smooth? Is it rough when you do your coloring? Go back to focusing on what you were focusing on. Some other grounding techniques you can use, and I do this with adults as well, and they say it works, and I do this with kids that have anxiety. It's like, for instance, it's all about mind distraction. You will look around in your room and see, well, how many blue things can I find? For instance, there's blue. I think that's blue right here, even behind me. Oh, my nails are blue. Oh, my toes are blue. What else do I see that's blue? There's another picture over there that's blue. There's something blue on that box that's over there behind there. How many things can I find that's red? Oh, there's red in a painting I have over there. Another red in a painting there. Oh, there's red on the book, The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Oh, there's red on that spray bottle. Why are you doing that? Because you're getting control of your thoughts. You know, a lot of us, why we have so many problems when we go no contact or thinking about it, because we're too much in our head. So again, thought stopping, grounding techniques. Or another way to distract yourself is, how many movies can I think of in like 2 minutes? Go. Let's see. Oh, I talked about Coming to America. Let's see. Coming to America. Play along with me for a second. Let's see. Coming to America. Coming to America 2. Let's see. Menace to Society. You know, just like that. How many songs can you think of for a few minutes? You know, just something to distract yourself. You need the mind distraction, y'all. It's gonna be hard, because sometimes people get confused because these negative thoughts sound just like you. So why would you be fighting back a thought that sounds just like your voice? But that thought is your enemy. That thought has been placed there by your caretakers or your abusers, the boyfriend, husband, wife, your ex-girlfriend, whoever it was. They have now got rented space in your head, and they're living there for free. I can't tell you, like, for instance, my mother would say to me when I would exercise, when I was living with her, I would exercise, and she'd be like, you're not kicking your leg high enough, Samyra. You're not raising your arms high enough. Oh, you're not lifting heavy enough weights. Oh, you're not doing so. Like the whole 40 minutes or 30 minutes of me exercising, she would just be sitting on her bottom, weighing almost 400 pounds or whatever, telling me what I'm not doing right. And so when I left her house, when I would exercise and she wasn't there, guess what my mind would start doing? It turned into mother. So I'm doing my 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my mind would start saying, you're not lifting heavy enough weights. Oh, you're not reaching your arm all the way up. You just did this. It should have been like that. Oh, or when you're stretching like this, oh, my neck popped. You should have stretched more deeply like that. Oh, when you were doing the roll, you should have did it higher. And so my mind would be in freaking torment. It was hard to even exercise because my mind. And one day I had to think about it. I say, to God be the glory on this one, because it came to me. It was like, why are you thinking like that? You know those are your mother's thoughts, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I had turned into her, attacking myself, and she was even no longer around. I had started attack. I was so programmed, I was attacking myself. At the time, I didn't know about thought stopping. But as soon as my head would have gone into what I know now, if I used back then, as soon as I told myself, oh, you're not lifting your arm high enough, I would have said, stop. And to go back to grounding, you focus on the present moment. What was I doing before my thoughts started fighting me and trying to destroy me? Oh, I was exercising. So guess what? I'm going to focus on how the weight feels in my hand. I'm going to focus on the stretch in my hand. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm just feeling the weight. How does it feel in my hand? Is it hot? Is it sticky? Is my hand sweating? Is it cold? You got a metal weight? Is there any tension in my arm? I may need to put the weight down and stretch out my arm. How does it feel? Do I feel any knots, kinks in my arm? Okay, just let it feel. Just let it be there. And guess what? If I'm doing this, I'm not thinking about the negative of my mother. I'm not thinking about those negative records. Yeah, replaying. You got to make an effort to stop. Yes, that's right. I'm going back to doing what I was doing before my thoughts started fighting me. And those things work, but you have to continue to put effort into it. Some people, if you're a man, if you're in the sports, something that can help you to distract your thoughts, name as many sports teams. Go as you can, you know. May start with football, hockey, baseball, basketball, whatever is your thing. If you're into motorcycles or guns, how many guns or motorcycles can you name in 30 seconds? You know, you have to fight back, you know. And lastly, I want to say about fear. I know I keep saying lastly, I'm going to get off here soon. Is we feared being displeasing to God. So some of us don't go full no contact because we fear that. But you have to, instead of just allowing people to tell you what the Bible says or what God wants, you have to be able to open that book. If you believe, you got to open that book and read for yourself. You can't just go on what people tell you, because you got people these days to be like, what the Bible say, then you ask them, what book is that? What scripture? They don't know, because they just regurgitating what somebody else on the internet or somebody mama or grandma or the pastor told them, and they don't read the Bible for themselves. You got to look at it for yourself, you know, line upon line. You know, scripture upon scripture. Don't just take one scripture about what it say about parents. Look at all the scripture about parents so you can make sure you're understanding the context of that scripture, you know. And another thing about being fearful that I've seen with some people that's gone thinking about no contact is just fear of being ganged up on. A lot of us just want that acceptance from these people. But what I will ask you about that acceptance is, like I said earlier, have you ever got it from these people? Have they ever really accepted you? If you're truthful about yourself, you probably been on the outside all along. You probably never fit in quite well with them. I have many instances of my life where people are saying to me, oh, like, you're different. There's something different about you. You know, you're not sort of like all of us, or you're not like all of them, you know. And these were sometimes where some of the problems come in these relationships, even with your friendships, because they see that, yeah, even though y'all hanging out together, you probably not really like them all the way. Your morals may be a little bit different, you know. One of the friends get up, everybody else talking about that friend, and you probably try to get them not to do that. Y'all, why y'all doing that? I thought we all supposed to be friends. Are y'all doing that about me too? You know, when I get up and leave, you know. So they see it's a difference about you. They like, who is this person think they are? God, the moral police. You know, they don't want to scam and run credit cards like we doing. They don't want to write fake checks like we doing. Oh, they think they better. You know, they look at you like that. And especially if you don't do everything they do, they sizing you up. People comfortable around people who do exactly what they do. You know, they have a hard time around folks that got a different opinion about things. They don't want to be around that. And I just want to say to you all, if you can go ahead, if you got any questions, you got a few seconds, you can go ahead and type that in. I think I saw a few questions earlier. If I didn't ask them, that's only because I didn't want to lose my train of thought. I probably wasn't talking about that particular topic at the time. But if you got any questions, you can go ahead and ask the questions. I never know if I'm spelling your name right. Daniel says, this is gold, stopping our enemy's voice inside of us. Yeah, it is. And also, I want to say, if you like this content, I do want to give my Cash App. I think it's in the description. It is $TellSamyra. Again, my Cash App is $TellSamyra. If you have not gotten my books, they're available on Amazon. The links are down on my About section and also on the wall of on the front page of my page. Keep up the good work, you all. Thanks, Samyra. You're welcome. Yeah, I thought about this, and I don't know if Josh, if you're in here, I think something you did maybe on Instagram or something. I think I saw, and I think you were talking about just how hard it is to go no contact, and people don't really say that. Talk about how hard it is, because it definitely is, like I said, one of the most hardest things I've ever done. And what I do is I try not to force anybody to go no contact, because it's a lot that comes along with that. And what I would also say to you, if you're on your healing journey and you come across other people who are thinking about going no contact, is not to force anybody, because everybody has to make these decisions for themselves. Because, like, what did we talk about today? Just to summarize it, some of the things to consider before going no contact: you can experience guilt, depression, even suicidal thoughts, meaning suicidal ideation, where you have thoughts of killing yourself but you don't have a plan. Some people actually do kill themselves because of everything that's going on, feeling like the black sheep, not having any support, being isolated because nobody is backing them up. People know they're being abused, but they're acting like they don't. They all shutting up. They teaming up with the narcissists against you, being flying monkeys. Some people kill themselves because of that. You can also experience denial if you're thinking about going no contact. You stop forgetting all the bad stuff they do, and now you're only thinking about all the good stuff, you know, that they've done, because you're like, no, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I need to forgive them. But how many times have you forgiven them? 50, 100? Come on, y'all. Then you can also experience that fear. What is that fear about? Fear of being alone. Not everybody can be okay being by themselves. Not everybody can be okay being single, whatever it is. Not having somebody to go to the after party with. Not having somebody to go to a concert with or a basketball game. You know, your friends may still be hanging out with that abuser, and you have to separate yourself. You know, there's a lot to go on with that. Dealing with anger. Your mood has now probably changed. Expect that. You may not be the same. You know, you're upset because you realize that the people who you supported, you've helped financially, you've been on the phone with them hours after hours of all the hell that they were going through. But now that you need them and you want to talk to them about something that's happened to you, bounce some thoughts off of them about going no contact, they don't want to listen. They're telling you you're wrong. You know, so anybody would feel any type of way about that, y'all. So don't be so quick to tell somebody, this is just my thought, oh, you just need to cut off your mama. You just need to cut off your daddy. You just need to go no contact. Get them out of your life. Love yourself. It's not always that. It's not that easy, y'all. Even if people are limited contact. At first I used to think limited contact, like, man, you need to go full no contact. Stop allowing these people to punk you and use you. You know what? No. I am not in a position to tell anybody what they should and should not do with their families. Hey, Teron, how you doing? I am not in a position to tell anybody that they should be full contact, limited contact, or nothing, because these are big decisions that people need. And especially if you're not willing to pay for somebody's therapy at least for 3 to 6 months, or get paid for them to have support groups, or go online and find free mental health services and support groups in the area, you should not be telling people to go limited or no contact, because they're probably about to open up some mental illnesses they didn't know they had, or get some new ones. There can be adjustment disorders that mean people start feeling sad or anxious, or having like severe problems in their lives. You for instance, like not being able to succeed at work, trouble focusing so much that they're now not doing well at work, may start getting write-ups at work, or the attention span is now so low they're not doing well at work, having problems at work. All this can be started because a person is considering or has gone no contact. They may have issues functioning in other areas. They may not want to have sex with their partner anymore, and it can be turning into problems with their partner. You know, it can be all type of things. They may be so depressed or sad. A person probably wouldn't be able to get up out of bed to take care of their kids, to make sure that the kids are clean and out to school and got healthy meals. So you can't just go around and saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this. But have you thought about the cost? Have you counted up the cost? Have you actually told that person everything you went through when you went no contact? Not just saying, oh, it was the best thing I've ever did. I was the right decision. I wish I should have done it sooner. Yeah, that may be true, but did you tell them about all the dark side that can come with that? That fear, that anger, guilt, depression, denial, all that stuff. You didn't tell that person about that stuff, and you just told them to jump out there and cut off all the people they've ever known. Yeah, these people may have sucked, but guess what? That's still that person's mama. That mama could be a crackhead hoe, but that's still that person's mama. And if that person not ready to go no contact with their crackhead hoe mama, or meth mama, or lean Percocet mama, or whatever type of mom, excuse me, my allergies again. At the end of the day, that person loved their mama, just like you probably loved yours, and why you struggle going no contact, because even though they were treating you horrible and maybe burning you with an iron or a cigarette, that was still your mom. And because that connection was there, you still had love for that person, which probably made it hard for you to go no contact. So I just want us to be careful that we're not just telling people these things like it's so easy. Oh, you just need to love yourself. What the heck? What the heck does that even mean? Oh, you just need to cut them all off. Okay, when they cut them all off, are you going to be their support system? Are you going to be that person that helps them? Because what if they can't afford therapy, or they can't afford any type of groups? Are you going to be the one that they can call when they cut everybody off? Hey, Sight Perspective, how are you doing? Y'all, if y'all haven't checked out Sight Perspective's channel, y'all need to check out Sight Perspective. Be giving some real good jewels about narcissism in the black families, not about narcissistic mothers and things. Also talking about a lot of stuff about what else? Jobs and the unfairness there, and how we're like work slaves. And I tell you, Sight Perspective be coming with it. So yeah, go ahead and check out Sight Perspective. Yeah. So like I said, it's a lot of stuff to consider when going no contact. And you know what, if you've gone limited contact, like I said, when I went limited contact, even some of the things we talked about, this I'm doing good, thank you for the shout out, of course. So good to hear you're doing good. And even with going limited contact, some of the things that I talked about, I've experienced too, like guilt. I even experienced guilt for going limited contact. Let me see what you said, Danwell. I believe when you are a believer in Christ, the pressure to do what others think is best is far more difficult. Preach. But you have to put yourself first no matter what anyone else thinks. Yeah. It is difficult, because when I was trying to go limited contact, and I went to the church and I told them, and I told them, and they couldn't handle my anger. But see, anger, when you're thinking about separating yourself or whatever from your parents, limited contact, no contact, anger is natural, you guys. I went to the church and I told this man, he was like a Sunday school teacher. It was nobody else in there. And I was sad and started crying or something. And because I was thinking about cutting off my mom, and I told him about it. And I said, you know, I hate her. And he couldn't handle that. And I can't be mad at him, because a lot of people can't handle that. If you say, oh, I hate my mom or whatever, you know, I don't know if I really hated her, but maybe I was just really angry that day. She had done something bogus, something crazy as usual. And I just needed to let it out to somebody. And I just told that man, I said, I hate her. And he was like, no, you don't, Samyra. I think you just want her to love you back, or something he said. No, you don't hate her. And people mean well, but they don't understand that is so invalidating. You know, if I said I hate her, maybe that's what I meant at the time. I'm really not sure if I did, but maybe I did mean it though. But for somebody to be like, oh no, you don't, it's like, So now you're going to say you know better than I know about my feelings? I mean, for real. And I've done this to people before, and I try not to do it. You know, you live and you learn, you grow, you do better. But he was like, no, you don't. Then he started telling me about how his mom was like so evil, and that he was wearing her down for years, preaching to her about Jesus. Then one day she came and gave her life to the Lord and was baptized in Jesus' name, filled with the Holy Ghost. And now she's there and she's a church mother, and she's so dedicated to the church, which she was, and really nice woman when I saw her, because I knew her. And when he told me about how she used to be, I was like, dang, for real? I was like, wow, she really did a change. But how many people actually make that type of change, though? I mean, how many people do? And so, excuse me, it just made me continue to accept the abuse, because I started feeling bad, like, oh, I shouldn't say I'm angry at someone and I'm in church. Oh, I can't say I hate someone and I'm in church. I just got to be more patient, because my God is going to bring my mom on into the fold. She's going to give her life to the Lord and be a great person. So I'm going to hang on with the abuse. But did the abuse stop? No, it didn't. You're right if you guessed that. No, it didn't. So I ended up going to somebody else in the church. And I was telling her, yeah, me and my mom, this is what I mean, talking too much to people. I was talking too much because I was hurt. But I would totally recommend, just can't be talking to these people, giving them all your business. These people are not trained. I'm not saying they have to be a licensed therapist, because I learned a lot of, mostly everything I know about narcissism from other YouTubers that are not therapists. And I am not, and even though I am a therapist, I am not going to lie. I learned so much from people like Lisa A. Romani? Who else? Somebody, I can't remember who she is. Meredith somebody. Dang, I can't remember her name. But those people really helped me on my journey in the beginning, you know? And so before I found these people, I had told this other church lady about what was going on. I had her all in my business. And she says to me, why don't you live with your mom? Y'all, I was like 24. And I had my own place. She like, why don't you live with your mom? And I'm like, because I want my own place. And she's like, what? But you should live with your mom. I'm like, you don't live with your mom. She's like, I got kids and stuff. And I'm like, but still, I want to live alone. Like, basically, like, why do you care? I didn't ask her that. And I was like, no, because I started giving her excuses. You know how we do, y'all. If we've been traumatized, we start trying to justify our actions, and we try to go down a long list of abuse we endured, because we're thinking that person is going to see. You're going to be on my side and see why I don't live with mom. You're going to see she's crazy. So I was telling her all this stuff, and she's like, well, Samyra, you're saved now. So that means you're going to have to forgive all that stuff, and you should go and live with your mom. I said, what does saved have anything to do with it? I said, I'm not telling you anything. I said, I told you some stuff about the past, but she's still currently doing this stuff. So what do you mean that I should go and live with her and forgive, and she's still doing this stuff? But Samyra, you should move past it, because the Lord can save her with you in the house. Y'all, some of these church people don't be understanding their Bible, and I've been there before. Lack of comprehension. This is why I don't let nobody tell me nothing about the Bible unless I got my Bible open with me and we can go to every scripture on that topic, because I'm telling you, listening to some church people had me enduring abuse. And this is one reason why it took me so long to go limited, then no contact with my mother, because the church, who should have known evil when I told them about it. They can talk about the devil and Satan all day, about the end times. People are going to become lovers of themselves, high-minded, that the mother is going to be against the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law, the son against the father. We can see that the Bible clearly tells us about how people are just going to be out for themselves, and they're going to be ruthless the sooner we come, you know, into the time of the Lord returning. You know, you can believe whatever you believe. I'm not here to disagree with that. I got a point I'm going to. But it's like people are just going to get worse the closer we move into that future. You know, if you see it now, you see it. If you don't, but then you don't. You believe how you believe. But it clearly spells out in the Bible this stuff that we're going through. It doesn't say narcissism, but it tells you all the same traits of narcissism and all that. You're going to see all this stuff. Cypress Specter says, yes, they'll sit up there and justify their abuse through scriptures by their interpretations. Yeah. And so they can read these all day, all these scriptures. They can read them and they know them front to back. But when they actually see the scriptures played out in real life in their face, then all of a sudden they confused. It's like ain't no more evil in the world. It's like, but I'm just telling you an example of mother against daughter, how there ain't no peace in the house. The scriptures predicted this. And we just read it in Sunday school. But when I tell you a real life example, now you confused and talking about forgive. That ain't what the Bible said about these evil people, especially if they claiming to be a believer and a believer of God, and they acting like they're behaving narcissistically, or if that's a word, like a narcissist, and they're doing evil and they get glory out of the evil, and they want to see you hurt. They want to see you in a mental institution. They would probably rejoice if you killed yourself. And now you're telling me I need to forgive that and go around it and be the bigger person? What? Crazy. Let's see. Daniel says the church, especially black churches, are heavy into the obey thy father and mother worship. No matter what they do, obey and keep them in your life. Yeah, they want to keep it in your life because like in some of those churches that do that, I noticed that sometimes you can have a pastor who could also be a bit controlling themselves, you know, wanting to tell you when you can go to a certain place, when you can and can't go on vacation, with what you can and you can't wear, your makeup, how much makeup you can and you can't wear, if you can wear jewelry, if you can wear pants or not, or you got to be in skirts, or you can't wear toes with your shoes out. You can't have your toes showing, no sandals, unless you looking like a weirdo goofy around here making you a target, but other people got your sandals on with the toe separator, but you got socks on, you know, having you look crazy. So a lot of these people are controlling themselves in the church. You know, you got to also understand that what you see out in the world, you're going to see in the church. So, yeah, my experience growing up in the Kojic church, you better teach, yes. And so some of these people can be narcs themselves or have other personality issues, personality disorders, you know. And so when they hear that you are trying to rise up to think for yourself and get out of these abusive relationships, or at least establish boundaries, they don't want you to do that, because then they realize that you're going to start setting boundaries with them. You may start asking questions about the tithes. You may start asking stuff like, oh, tithes, wasn't that in the Levitical priesthood? Didn't God end the Levitical priesthood? There's no priest here. Why are we giving tithes? We're not under a Levitical priesthood. That was done away with. Why are we giving tithes? And then you start reading more scriptures on how the tithes, the majority of it was fruit, what was it, fruits, grains, vegetables, or whatever, because the people during that time were farmers, and some of them worked too, and they had coins as well. If you remember, Judas sold Jesus out for coins. So you start asking questions like, well, if they were giving, they had money back then, but they were giving tithes of the first fruits of their harvest, which was not money but actual crops. And then they'll start, well, today we don't use money, they have money. But how did Jesus get turned over to the Romans for money? They must have had money, they did. And Judas was the treasurer, carrying around the purse bag with the money in it, so they had money. But so they don't want you to start asking questions like that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't support your church, because they have bills there. You got water on, you want to use the light when you go into the restroom. You know, you want to have a building to meet in. I'm sure it's a mortgage. I don't know how all that stuff works, but I'm saying a lot of times the church don't trust that people will be cheerful givers and just help. They feel like they have to put that pressure on you and say, well, will Malachi 3:16, is it Malachi 3 and 6 or 16? Will a man rob God? Yes, by tithes and offering. You have robbed God. That was under the old covenant, and it was talking about what? of their first fruits from the farm. But anyway, people will try to guilt you with all this stuff. So they don't want you to ask questions and try to get out of abuse, because they want to make sure they can use you. They want to make sure they can dictate to how you look and your role and what you should be doing in and outside of the church. So if you start getting smart, you're not going to be putting up with all the stuff that this church may be doing to abuse you. And I want to say that I'm not talking about every church. Daniel says we have to be careful about that spiritual father and mother doctrine. Yeah, it's like, because I read it like this, that I only have one father, what I can read in the scripture, and that father is God. Ain't nobody my spiritual father. If I were at somebody's church, I used to think that, oh, that's my father. No, it ain't. I'm not putting myself on no bottom and putting somebody up in some pedestal. Oh, the first lady, that's my spiritual mother. No, she ain't my spiritual mother. She's the first lady, and that's his wife. She respectful to me, I'm going to be respectful to her. She disrespect me, I'm going to call her out. And at one point, I wasn't bold enough to do that. I've never had any problem with no first lady, I'm just saying, but I wouldn't have been bold enough to do that, you know. So you got to be careful when you're going to these churches. And like some of my friends, even who I tried to go to and talk when I was considering going limited or no contact, who were in church, I didn't even find them to be helpful. And I'm not saying this to knock them, because we all came up under this false teaching that was in the church about staying in with this abuse, you know. I would go to them and they would use like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. And, you know, and then when I went no contact, and like I told y'all before, they following up with me, have you talked to your mom yet? Have you talked to your sister? Now they would have been mad if I'd have cussed them out. Like, are you stupid? Are you slow? You stuck on stupid? Like they used to say, I think that was the 80s or the 90s, stuck on stupid. Like another one, it was I don't know who came out. It was called Hooked on Phonics for people who needed phonics. It was some type of educational system, and people would say like, I guess Hooked on Phonics didn't work for you. You know, I can be disrespectful if I wanted to, and I'd be like, what is something wrong with you? You need a hearing aid? Didn't I tell you I don't talk to these people? I'm no contact, limited contact. And then they'd be like, oh, but Samyra, you know, you should be the bigger person. No. Let's see. We are not under the law. Did you notice how it went from first fruits as well? Wait. Notice how it went into first fruits as well. Did I notice how it went into first fruits? I don't know if I know what you're saying. But yeah, so people, they want to try to put all these rules on you. And the thing is, you got to start thinking for yourself. If you're religious, because we're talking about God, reading the Bible for yourself. You know, at one time I did need help understanding what the Bible meant and stuff like that when I was new. I've been in this thing for 20-something years now. I don't need nobody telling me how I need to treat my father, my mother, my sisters. I don't need nobody misinterpreting the Bible on me. You do how you gonna do. I'm gonna read it for myself. But you're not gonna put that craziness on me, because like I said, some of these people, and I've seen people go off in the church, some of the same ones who will be telling you that you need to endure this abuse and forgive and stuff, will go off on other people in the church, and they barely will speak to other people. You know, you can tell they don't want to speak. You know, but they trying to play churchy. They'll walk past everybody. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord, sister. Praise the Lord, pastor. Yes, hallelujah. He's been good to me. The Lord is blessing me right now. Hallelujah. But then when they get to that person they don't like, they be like, praise him. Praise the Lord. You know, so you can tell it's a difference. And they ain't got nothing to do with that person. You know, if they both in the choir, they making sure they down way at the other end from the person they don't like. Or if they going out of town together on the church events, they make sure that the person they don't like all the way in the front, they all the way in the back. But they gonna tell you that you need to be right here next to that narcissist who abusing you. You see that they divorced, you know, you see they went ahead and divorced their partner. Oh, and you know, and I know I say this a lot, and I'm going to keep saying it because this is so true to me. Oh, they just had a divorce in the church, but you want me to be by my narcissistic mother, but you just got a divorce? Talking about your husband toxic and he beating you. Well, but you want me to be abused, so why won't you stay around and be abused? You can't take a black eye. You couldn't forgive that. But I need to, but so my abuse is supposed to be more tolerable, huh? It's OMG, yes, they always side-eyeing and giving people stank stares. Yeah, they be doing all kind of passive stuff. You can tell who like who and who don't like who in these churches by trying to be fake. And so when I listened to this, I stayed around my mother more because I was feeling guilty. Oh, the Lord is going to be upset with me. Oh, I want to please God. I'm not doing right. Let me just get myself better so I can be pleasing to my Lord. And I go around her and I wouldn't stand up for myself. And then I'd even agree with her. Like one time, my cousin was staying with me and we went over there. My cousin was washing clothes. My cousin put the some gym shoes on my mother's dryer and you could hear it banging the dryer. And so instead of my mom just saying, hey, take it out the dryer because, you know, it's banging, she come in there going off on me in front of my cousin. Like, what the hell you got her, the dryer in there? Yo, dumb, should know better. And blah, blah, blah. Making a big scene and me thinking about what the church was telling me on how to be stupid and dumb and naive and a victim. I was like, yes, you're right, Mom. I should have known better. I shouldn't have asked her. And my mom, she looked at me like, because normally I wasn't that passive. You could tell her look changed like, dang, she more dumb today than before. And it was a micro look, you know, whatever you call it. It was very brief, but I saw it. And then she's like, yeah, you're right. You should have known better. You shouldn't have done it. I mean, come on here. You're up there messing up my stuff. You know, you should have did it. Yeah, get it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, she got a kick out of that. All the time I was around there being most stupid, she turned up the heat on that. It's like her narcissism went from a 9 to an 11. You know what I'm saying? Like 12 was the cap. It went up. Why? Because these people are all about power and control. They want to abuse and misuse other people. And the more you sit around and stay for this toxic behavior, to them, they feel justified. Like, oh, like my mother used to always say, find a fool, bump his head. Find a fool, bump his head. And I had been that fool, and I was already a fool before I went to the church, and they had programmed me to be even more of a narcissistic bait. They had trained me to be the person that anybody scammer could get over on. I had already been trained like that from age 5 and on up when my mother's narcissism had kicked in with me at age 5, 6 or whatever. And so the church had just helped build upon that. So this is why I say don't be mad at yourself when you decide to go limited or no contact and you are dealing with a bunch of different emotions and things because you've had years of programming to be misused and abused and stepped on. You've been taught that your feelings are not justified. You've been taught to put yourself last. And so to think that you're going to start setting boundaries and be healed overnight. You left the narcissistic relationship. Now you want to be all healed, and you watch 2 narcissistic videos on narcissism, and now you want to be healed completely. You've been to 2 therapy sessions, and now you're expecting to be totally delivered. You know, people, be real. If you've been in therapy due to trauma and abuse, you know it takes time. You're not just going to be healed overnight. You got to be patient with yourself. You know, like sometimes I have people commenting on my videos. They may have watched one video and they're looking for all the tips on how to be healed in just one video that they watch. It don't work like that. Healing is hard. It takes a lot of work. When Iyanla Van Zant said that you got to, something, I'm paraphrasing, you got to be willing to do the work. Okay? You got to show up for your healing. What does that mean? You may have to watch some videos on narcissism over and over. You may need to get a notepad and take you some notes and review those notes periodically. You may need to get you a therapist or support group, or even at your own house analyzing how you contributed to those narcissistic relationships, the red flags that you miss. And so you can ask yourself, what would I have done different? Making sure that you're analyzing yourself so closely that you never make the same mistakes again. You're not replaying situations to drive yourself more mental, like not to cause depression or anxiety. You're analyzing yourself, and I got this from Robert Greene, that so you can make sure, like, yeah, I messed up here, here, here. I ignored all these red flags for years. I should have stopped it the third time, second time, first time it was done. What did I miss? What could I have done different? And you do that to be like, yeah, I was dumb there. And I like to admit it, I was dumb, because it hurts to know that I was dumb. But that is a thing that helped me heal, to realize I was dumb. I was naive, because it hurt, but I sat with that hurt. And that sitting with that hurt, meaning I didn't deny it. I let it feel how it felt in my heart, and I accepted that. And then I said, okay, I'm not just gonna sit here and be depressed and anxious because I was a punk that I didn't stand up for myself. No, I'm gonna say, yeah, it was true, but guess what? It's not about to happen again. Why? Because now I know the red flags. Also, doing your work. So not only are you watching videos, you're going to therapy, but you're reading. You're not just always reading about narcissism. Maybe you're reading about better communication skills. You know, if you don't feel like you don't know how to stand up for yourself, because probably you don't, especially if you came from, yes, self-analysis is the goal, right, Angela? Especially if you grew up in a narcissistic or toxic family, even if it's your parents were on drugs, alcohol, domestic violence, you probably didn't learn how to stand up for yourself. Or if you did learn, you learned how to be explosive, going off, cussing people out, fighting, going to jail, shanking people, getting your blick, pow, pow, pow on people, because that's what you saw in your household. But now you need to learn healthy ways to stand up for yourself. So I try to read a lot of different books. I did a lot of reading to help me to overcome some of the things. And then I was like, oh wow, I never thought about that. Oh yeah, this is a good comeback. If somebody steps over my boundaries, I could say this. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do a lot of different work. You know, some people, like I said, think they just gonna watch 1 or 2 videos and it's going to be healing. No, you got to do the work. If somebody's suggesting videos for you, like on topics like this or boundaries or whatever it could be, watching those videos, you know, doing something. And it's going to take some time, and that's all right. It's going to take some time, but it's all right. Any questions? I know I said I was going to get out of here a long time ago. Any questions so far? I will say this while I'm waiting to see if there's anybody that questions. Let's see. Daniel, let's see what you say. When I made it very clear I was done with allowing abuse from anyone, my backstabbing religious aunt told me that good people just have to suffer. Good, and see, and you know what? I know that's your aunt, but that comment is full of crap. If you want to suffer, then a person can choose to suffer. But no. See, I don't try to live my life by other people's little sayings, because people will tell you that good people need to suffer, and then they consider themselves good, but they not suffering. People will tell you to do things and believe things, and they won't even do those things themselves. They don't even believe it truly themselves. They just want you to be dumb. You know, like what benefit does auntie get by telling you that? Is auntie trying to get over on you or been getting over on you? Because I tell you, those be the family members that love to want you to stay in that abusive cycle, because they getting over on you. I tell you, I had a family member one time, he, was claiming he was going to buy my car, right? I had another car, but I had 2 cars, and one I was selling. He claimed he was going to buy the car. So I let him go and use the car or something. I said, no, you can use it for a day, and then in 2 days had the money for the car. You know what he do? He go off and take off on my car, leave for days, and then come to find out he in somebody crack house. This is what we found out. I had to put a police report on my car in order to get my car. And something else really bad about this, but I won't say this because the other person involved I really love, and I don't want to cause any shame or anything, but I won't say. But if you think that was bad what he did to me, it was even way worse than that. So it took about 3 days for them to find my car. I had to call the police. They never found it, of course. He came back with my car. And the battery, I needed a battery for that car, so he had put his battery in it. So he ended up he just parked it in front of my mother's house, took his battery out of it, and walked off and left the car. I think he did have the decency to lock the car. The issue was never addressed. Now, I say this to say that this was one of the main people telling me that I need to forgive my mom, that I know how my mom is, that I need to be the bigger person. Why did this person benefit for telling me that? Oh, because he knew he was going to eventually steal my car for days and leave his responsibilities in my lap. But I had allowed it. But yeah, he wanted me to be a victim because he knew he had been victimizing me, and I had allowed it, and he knew he had more plans to victimize me. So then, well, I would say from your aunt, is your aunt anything like my family member? I don't know. I hope not. Psych Perspective says this: they'll triangulate you with other siblings and offsprings and family members. Yeah, they will. And I mean, I tell you this, a little story about with my sister. This was a long time ago. I had was getting money for I was in grad school, and if you know anything about grad school, it's expensive and you can get a lot of loans. And I was taking out loans, and I would get a lot of money back for a refund check. But you know how that go. It seemed nice at the beginning, but you really got to pay that back one day. Oh, if any of y'all love me for real, let me send these student loans your way. But so at first, my mother was every time it was my fault. See, this is what I mean about us that going through abuse talking too much. I would always tell my mother and my sisters when I got my refund check. Why? Just bad boundaries. And so at first, my mother would always, you're appreciated. Thank you so much. If you all have not liked this video and you've been hanging out, go ahead and like this video, share this video, subscribe if you haven't done so. So at first, my mother would always come up with some excuse that one of my sisters would need a new car. You know, we weren't getting new cars or nothing like that. But, you know, like a $1,500, $2,000 car. Oh, I hope we get student loan forgiveness too, because I need it, I tell you. Even though mine been in forbearance forever, I don't even know what's going on with it. I need to check though. But so I would be the one, so my mom would give me a sob story like, oh, you know, your sister needs a new car. It's going to cost about $1,500. You know, this was way back in the day. Or, oh, your sister, they need this. And, oh, they need that. Or, oh, my mother need this. And I would be like, with the cape on, din, da, da, da. Oh, I have it. $1,500. I can loan it. Oh, you need this. Oh, I'm there. Here you go. And then they'd be like, oh, yeah, we're going to pay you back on this day. Of course, I wouldn't get the money, all of it back for like 6 months late, 7 months late. Now, by this time, I'm in a bad shape with my rental apartment. I'm in a bad shape trying to scrape up money to get to and from school. I was going to school in Chicago and having to get the money. I was living in Gary, Indiana at the time. That's where I'm from and raised. And barely had money. You know what I'm saying? And barely had food, excuse me, except like rice and beans and neck bones with barbecue sauce. I was eating that all the time. Y'all, I was struggling. And somehow I stayed fat. What would I say? You had no money for food. But I guess all that rice and them neck bones helped sustain my weight. Y'all, I thought I was going to be skinny. I ain't hardly had nobody, but no. So anyway, yeah. Oh, they never paid you back. Yeah, so they would pay me back months late. They didn't care that I was struggling nothing, okay? Yeah, them neck bones used to be good. I don't eat meat no more. You know what I'm saying? But I used to tear that pork up back in the day. I tell you. And on a good day, if I had a little extra money, like a little extra $2 or $3, maybe give me some cornbread, a little Jiffy box, and hook it up with my little neck bones, rice and stuff. Yeah. But they didn't care. They weren't trying to help. They weren't trying to help me in no way. But I was up there trying to get them everything and do right by them. And finally, I got smart and started saying, you know what? Because I would get a check like about twice a year. And this would happen to me twice a year. It happened for like about 3 years. twice a year, but for 3 years, them put me in a bad spot with that money. One time, my youngest sister owed me a couple of $100, and she had the nerve. Her job said if she if she kept calling off, they were going to fire her, and it got to the point they said, if you call off one more time, we're firing you. Well, she had just borrowed hundreds of dollars from me and decided that she wanted to go to like Great America or something the next day with her best friend. So she called off knowing they were going to fire her while she owed me all this money, and she went to Great America. And I was struggling for months. Because she was out of a job. So, excuse me. But yeah, so I finally got smart. And then I was like, my mother would play the game. Oh, how much did you get from your reimbursement? And one time I was like, that's private. Oh, you know, she got mad. Then Flying Monkey, who wasn't even probably 16 at the time, called me talking about, how much did you get? And I said, like I told mother, it's private. Don't nobody want nothing from you, Samyra. We don't need nothing from you. Don't nobody need your money. Don't nobody want nothing from you. Well, and I say, if you don't want nothing from me, why are you asking? Don't nobody need nothing for you. Going off on me. Now, you may have different thoughts and you may be nonviolent. But see, the thing is, I'm 6 years older than her. And where I come from may be a little different than you. And I have not been a fighter. I actually could protect myself, but I was scary of being to fight. Because I realized it was a possibility that I could lose. And I never wanted to have my face looking ugly. But where I come from, she was due a beating. And I should have given it to her. I feel guilty that I didn't. I do. I don't care what y'all think. I feel guilty. I should have blacked her eye. I should have. But being brainwashed by the church, this was me brainwashed. She called me 2 days later, and now all of a sudden she's humble. Sam. Now she calling me Sam. I really need some money. You think I can get it? Now, because I was trying to be a Jesus fanatic as the church was training me, I was like, yeah, I have it. And I gave it to her. The Samyra today, who still loves the Lord, would have told her, I ain't giving you nothing. Now, if it would have been some food or something like that, I'd have gave it to her. I wouldn't go see her hungry. But the way she freaking talked to me and about something that she needed this money like for something that was luxury. You better go get it somewhere else. And I would have confronted her, what was all this that you don't need me? But here you go right now groveling that you do. You better check your tone next time. And I wouldn't have gave her that dang old money, but I gave it to her. And did she pay me back on time? No. No, she didn't. But I was being stupid because of the church. Oh, forgiveness. Give to those who ask you. Sometimes we got to teach people a lesson. People be doing all kind of crazy stuff because we don't have no boundaries and we don't say enough is enough. Giving in to these people. And then we wonder, why is there so many toxic people? Because of people that's being too nice. Not laying down the law and making them feel some dang on pain. Should have made her feel pain. No, you talk to me like you was out of your dang on mind. Don't ever speak to me like that again. You check your tone when you talking to me. Now you go and find some money from somebody else, but you won't be getting it from me. Then I wonder why she was doing more crazy stuff. She got more and more disrespectful to me over the years. To the point now, if I see her in person, I'm probably going to have to hit her in her eye. Because I know she going to come crazy. But she going to try to be talking about the videos and all that. And she going to think she ran across the same punk, but she ain't. And then if I got to go to jail, y'all remember my CashApp, $TellSamyra, because I may need y'all. Because they ain't going to be nice. Because she a person like to be loud and try to run up on you. The old me that was trying to, oh, Jesus loves you, yes, I know. I ain't that no more. And it's going to be a problem. But see, we train these people on how to do it. You know what I'm saying? We train these people on how to mistreat us and keep on doing crazy stuff. So yeah, and the last one, I'm finally gonna get out of here. And like my mother, so when I stopped being stupid with my money, and I was like, forget that. They gonna need to learn how to budget their own money and be accountable, because I gotta pay this money back. See, I was giving them dollar for dollar when they would give me my money back. I wasn't charging them interest, but when Great Lakes want their money from me, guess what? I gotta pay interest. If you still in here, Psych Perspective, ain't that right? I gotta pay interest on that money. I didn't charge them interest. And then look at all the years that I have not paid them interest. Paid Great Lakes, and imagine how many thousands and hundreds of thousands that I owe these people now because of all the interest from undergrad, 5 years of grad school. That's a total of what, 9 years? And now I got to pay all that interest. But where's these family members there? You think any of them trying to help me pay all these loans? No. You think they would even responsible borrowing money from me like I was the bank and ain't giving no interest on it? But where they at now? You said, Danielle, toxic relatives believe that they can abuse you and you are supposed to be there for them. They believe that they are entitled to your resources, time, and energy, no matter what they do to you. Y'all, if you at home, wherever you are, just stop and clap your hands, because I tell you, that's some real stuff. That's real stuff. They do. That's why these abusers thrive in these families, because they know what we were taught, what's ingrained in us. They know we were taught family over everything. Blood is thicker than water. You ain't got nothing if you ain't got family. Your family is your rock, your strength, whatever else like that. What they tell you. These abusers, they know that. And they're counting on you to think that way so they can get over on you. Because they want you to keep on misusing you over and over again. They're like, yeah, Samyra believes in family. Samyra wants to be a good religious Christian girl. And good religion Christian girls are the best ones to take advantage of. Them narcissists be like, yes, now she's saved. I'm really about to get her done, but think they don't think like that? I'm sure my mama cut up inside, had a field day knowing that I had given my life to Christ and was going to the church, and they was telling me to be supportive of her wicked ways. I bet she was like, woo, dang, she was already dumb, and now she dumber thanks to that church around the corner. Praise God. So when I started having some boundaries concerning my student loans, and my mother would start giving me all these hints, she would never just ask for the money. I started ignoring the hints, and one day she got bold and she was like, Samyra, this is the part. She paused after. She was like, you know your sister needs, and I just paused with her. And she was like, Samyra, this is the part where you're supposed to volunteer to help. And I said, why is this where I'm supposed to volunteer to help? Thank you, preach. You're hitting on the nail. I'm happy y'all get some out of this. I said, if you need something, I suggest you ask. I got bold that day because I was sick of that manipulation. Yes, end up protecting and supporting our abusers, you know, and they trained us good to do it. That's what they expected from us. They wanted to train us up to provide for them, support them, and do everything for them. That's what they wanted, especially in their old age. That's why they trained us that way. They were hoping that we would never leave the nest and stay close and be abusive, not have dysfunctional relationships outside of them. So at the end of the day, when they got older, we would be there to take care of them, paying all their bills, paying all their medication, driving them around the city, going to get their food, paying for this, paying for that. That's what they trained us for. That is what they trained us for. And they were hoping we would follow through with it, because there's also that societal expectation to take care of the family and everybody. Excuse me, y'all. Let me plug up this something. Okay. So yeah, they were hoping that we would be the good little boys and girls that they trained us to be, that our schools and the church taught us to be, you know. That's part of That's part of that master plan. If you haven't looked at the TV show what called The Sopranos, looking at Tony's the lead character, his mom, she definitely seemed to be a narcissist to me, and she had programmed him to be giving her like a life of luxury in her end days. You know, these people can treat you like crap all your life, but they expect you to bend over backwards and do all kind of crazy stuff for them. So if it wasn't bad enough, so then my youngest sister, after I didn't fall for my mother's trick, she calls me talking about, Sam, you know mama needed that money, and why didn't you give it to her? And I said, because if she needed it, she needs to ask. Instead of keep telling me about all these woe is me stories about all of y'all. So imagine how horrible that is. Not only was she trying to get me to take care of her, she was trying to get me to take care of my two youngest sisters. Now, if you've seen my video, if you haven't, go watch that about the parentified child. All my life, I had to take care of my sisters, perming their hair, pressing their hair, washing, conditioning their hair, blow drying their hair. Now, you may think that's not a big thing, but we all Negro. So look at the hair texture, and I got to do my own hair and other Negro heads too. I mean, my hands was tired, the brushes were breaking, the combs were tired. You know, it was hard. It was hard out here. Washing the dishes by maybe 10 or 11 years old, cooking for the entire family, putting all the food away, cleaning out the refrigerator, mopping the kitchen floor, washing all the clothes. My mother got to a point that she felt that I needed to wash clothes every day. So washing all the family clothes every day, folding them all up, drying them, you know, all this crazy stuff, you know, every day, and trying to do my own schoolwork, plus cooking and cleaning, getting my sisters ready at night, combing their hair, greasing it with the green blue magic grease and the green grease and all that kind of stuff, putting barrettes and everything on. I don't even know how I was passing dang on school. So not only that, because one time, even though I was scared of my mother, I mentioned it, I'm like, you know, I gotta do a lot of stuff. She told me I should be grateful that other kids would want to trade lives with me. And I'm thinking, where the hell these kids that want to trade lives? Can we do it today? And she said, I was ungrateful. I was always told I was ungrateful, that other people would die to have a mother like her. That she went to work in the steel mill, and her only job was to go to work. My job was to take care of the home and to take care of my sisters. So this was ingrained in me as a little child. So, you know, when I got to grad school, she wanted me to take responsibility for helping them all out, even though they would pay me back. I will say they would pay me back, but it was months late. And so my sister's like, yeah, Sam, you need to just offer her the money. You know, she's not going to humble herself. And I said, well, guess what? This is a lesson to her, because if she don't humble herself, she will not be getting it. And my sister's like, you shouldn't be like that. You know, bunch of flying, she probably was 16 or 15, freaking flying monkey, trained to be a flying monkey that old, that young. Not even 18, both of them at the time, not even freaking 18. And you think they'd have been on my side, since it seemed like I was their mother. The only thing their our mother did was pay the bills, in which I'm grateful for that. But in all actuality, I was their mother. Shoot, they were freaking nuts. We would go to the babysitter house everywhere, and it would be kids. I got to stop kids from beating up my dang sisters because they doing crazy stuff. They right on my cousin TV, I hate Sam. Oh, my cousin, I think she had a new TV. Wrote, I hate Sam. Or they would go to people's house and color on the wall, or get into fights with other kids. I mean, me and my best friend almost broke up being best friends, because at one point my mother decided that I needed to start taking them with me on the weekend when I would stay at my friend's house. That was my only respite away from this dysfunction. Then I had to take them because she decided she needed a break. She was never with them no way, but she didn't want to be bothered. So I had to take them with me, you know, or to my cousin's house. They had to come too, because she wanted to go to the club, and she didn't want them at the house by themselves. And people would always be like, dang, you cool, but we don't like your sisters. Always. And then I tell my mom, like, dang, you know, people don't like them. And she be lying, talking about, oh, people always tell me that they like them and that they want them, they even want them to be their kids. I'm like, ain't nobody, even to, even when I get grown, other family members of people, they be like, say like, yeah, we remember your sisters. They were this, they were that, talking to themselves, all kind of crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't know where they came from. And it's like, I still like them, I still love them, but they used to cause a lot of freaking problems for me growing up. And they probably don't even know it because, like I said, I'm 6 years older than one and 8. Like one time we had one babysitter house. This boy my age, remember, it's a 6-year gap between me and one of my sisters and 8 between the youngest one. Me and the youngest one got the same birthday. You know, this dude my age, one of my sisters pissed him off. Said something to his girlfriend who was our age. He coming on the stairs about to fight my sister. Who got to step up? Me. Even though I used to be scary, I was never scary with about my sisters. I stepped up to his face and I said, you ain't about to do nothing to my sister. And she went in the house. I sent her in the house. And he thought and it was his grandmother's house. And I blocked that door. I said, you ain't about to go after my sister. And he turned his tail around and went the other way. Even when my sisters was in the dang on rocking chair, I was their freaking protector. But you think they would do anything to protect me? Yeah, right. And this is how we train. I said we had this is a other babysitter house. Me and the boy over there, he's like 4 years older than me. My middle sister, she and her little rocking chair playing. He got mad at me and he took the not the chair, the little seat on the ground that you can rock. He like pushed it hard. I went behind that fool, pop, right in his dang jaw. Worst mistake I ever made because I turned my back. I hit him good, bam. He like, but he ain't fall. You know, he's like this. And I was thinking, yeah, got that punk. I turned around and walk into the sink. Next thing I know, my jaw was like, pop! He cracked me good in my dang jaw. You know what that taught me that day? Don't turn your back on your enemy. But I'm just saying, like, little stuff like that. And that's where that anger come from when you go limited contact or no contact. Because you think, like, dang, for real, your sisters turn into your flying monkeys. And you like, I did anything to freaking protect y'all. Many people I had to stand up against about them. And then they turn into some of your worst enemies. Where's the gratitude, y'all? Where's the gratitude? I don't know where it's at. But those are just some of the stories. So I said all that to say it's never easy, guys. Respect people's process. If they want to continue on in these relationships with their family, if they want to be limited contact, that is their right. We can't force people to go full no contact. We can't. If somebody has an abusive parent and they feel in their heart that they should still take care of that parent, that is their prerogative. As Bobby Brown used to say, it's their prerogative, y'all. Let's not shame these people, telling them, well, you need to not get their medication. You need to not help with their bill. If that is their parent, they have to do what they feel is best in their heart for their family. I can't make any judgments on anybody. I can't tell anybody to cut off relationships with their auntie, their brother, their sister. I can't do that because I know that person has a long road of healing. That person may not be mentally at a place mentally where they can go through the smear campaign. Can they go through it? Can they deal with being isolated? Can they deal with people not liking them, shaming them, not being the favorite family member for some people anymore? Can they deal with that? Because if they can't, then you may want to think about, is going no contact for me? Am I ready for it? Maybe you're not ready for it. Some people need other people around them to feel good about themselves. Some people need that validation and social support from other people, and they can't deal if they can't have it. That's what, if they don't have it. That's why some people kill themselves. I'm not about to set up somebody who may kill themselves if everything that they love is snatched away from them, because that hurts like hell. Everything that I loved, the thought that I loved, it was all snatched away from me. I ended friendship. I ended family relationships at about the same dang on time, you know. But thankfully, I was at a place where I could handle it. It was still hard, and it still took years to heal. But I wasn't at a place where I was going to thought about doing anything negative myself. Sometimes people pull out their hair. Some people cut themselves because they can't. It's so much emotions that it's hard for them to accept and to deal with. I'm not about to push nobody over the edge. All I can say is look at videos like this. Go over and subscribe to Psych Perspective. Learn about narcissism there and the other things that those videos teach you as well. Prepare yourself. Do your research before you decide to go. Let's see. You say when you break free from a narcissist and those that enable them, you will never want to go back to that BS. Yeah. And I think it may take some time to get to that thought. Because some people still struggle, though, with that guilt. Like, oh, did I make the right decision by leaving? You know? Sometimes it can be hard. Someone else said I was the second mother to my younger siblings as well. Yeah. You know, and that's why I used to have some of those thoughts of like lashing out and beating up people. Because I realized that all these people that I was giving my last to, giving my everything, that these people didn't love me like I loved them. A lot of them I don't even think love me at all. Guilt is a beast. Kill it. Yeah, that's on them. Yeah. A lot of these people didn't care about me, laughing at me, talking about me, all kind of stuff. These people didn't appreciate me. So, hey, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and get off here, y'all. I've been on here for 3 hours and 43 minutes. So, hey, before you get out of here, like I said, go ahead and don't forget to like this video if you haven't liked it. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Check out my books that's available on Amazon. You want to book a session with me, look at my About section, and you can go ahead and book a session with me. You want to talk about how to deal with some of the impact of this narcissism, whether it be sadness, guilt, anxiety, whatever it may be. Some of you all may be experiencing PTSD and you haven't even been to a war. You know, so flashbacks about the abuse, repeated thoughts about the abuse, hypervigilant, looking over your shoulder, always nervous. Don't trust people like you used to trust people. Thinking people out to get you, that the world is a bad place. Blaming yourself for some of the abuse that happened. That's all PTSD. Anger accompanied by anger outbursts, just like really not even provoked. And you think there's something wrong with you. You think that there's some type of weakness within you, but really ain't nothing wrong with you. It's just what was done to you, and now you got symptoms because of it. I mean, some of us, we ain't kill ourselves. A lot of us, maybe we ain't kill ourselves, but we got war wounds because of what happened to us. Anxiety, I do. My mom told me when she started seeing that I was getting more and more anxious because she was going off and yelling at me, embarrassing at me, and I was getting more symptoms. Of course, she wouldn't, yeah, there's a price to freedom, yeah. Of course, she wasn't going to take any responsibility for that. So she was telling me, oh, you know, Sam, that when I was pregnant with you, your daddy used to yell at me. And so when you came out, you were born anxious. She was like, you inherited that when you were in my womb. And so you came out as an anxious baby. And I'm thinking, of course, I don't know what I was doing in the womb. But I remember that I didn't start, for me, I only remember symptoms after she switched up on me at age 5 or 6. And I became her worst enemy when she had another child. So, you know, I remember peeling the skin. I would peel it like from here all the way to here on all my nails to the point you could see the meat under in here and blood. I would peel the skin of all that, you know. Or also, I told this before, I had trichomania. When the abuse first started, I developed trichomania and started pulling out my hair that I had, like all this here. about this much was all gone. I had pulled out all my hair. And with the trichomania, it's a thing with it. It's crazy because it feel good. It start to feel good when you pull it out. It's like when I would have this anxiety, like I couldn't rest. I don't know, it's like OCD symptom almost. It was like I couldn't rest. I remember this. I was 6. Or 7. I can have a good rest of your day too. And thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you being in all these lives and supporting my channel damn well. Thank you. And so as soon as I would pull out a piece, it was like I'd get this sensation go through like the top of my body. It was like, it felt like real good. And so I kept pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, you know. And then she took me to the doctor. Only thing that made it stop is the doctor gave us some salve. Some kind of salve is what it was called, and it stunk so freaking bad to the point I didn't want that crap in my head as bad as it smelled. And so I stopped. Even though I would feel get this tingling sensation like I should pull it, I stopped. I'm like, nah, dude, we ain't about to be putting that in my hair. But the doctor didn't know it was trichomania. I didn't know it was trichomania until I started studying psychology, though, and saw it in the book and was like, oh, shoot, I had trichomania back in the day. I read it. I was like, these symptoms is what I was doing at 6, 7. Oh, my God. But, yeah, so the doctor just thought my hair was falling out or something. But, yeah, I had trichomania. Because it was a shock going from being the prized only child to all of a sudden being discarded and screamed at and yelled at and picked apart and told I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough. And it was like, I was like the only child, and I was like the golden child. So imagine me going from that for the first 5, 6 years of my life to being told that, oh, your skin is ugly, your hair isn't this, you're stupid, you should know how to get your sister's shoe on, like buying them old school hard white little shoes. I couldn't get that thing on her foot. Like, what the heck? You know, so I guess the only way I knew how to adapt and cope was to pull out my hair. So yeah, so all types of anxiety is when where I started the overeating, you know, because it was like food was never mean to me. It was always nice. And it was like no matter how stressed I was, it was just like eating. I was eating like 7 pieces of pizza in a setting, you know, constantly eating, just eating, 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 you know, and that's how I dealt with it. So yeah, we leave with scars, you know. And I still deal with overeating today. I've had binge eating disorder before, you know, not putting my fingers down my throat and throwing up. Not that that's any better, but what I mean is just eating to the point where I couldn't stop. And a lot of that for me too was sugar addiction though. But the overeating, I know that was more mental for me, but for me, that binge eating was like a sugar addiction because I got to the point of yo-yo dieting so much. It was like that I felt so deprived that it was like when I would get any sugar, it was like I got to hurry up and eat it all in one setting because I'm never going to eat this again. And that was part of programming in my mind. I was telling myself I'm going to be on a diet for the rest of my life. So I got to binge and eat all this stuff because I'm never going to eat this kind of junk food again. So that kind of thinking will turn into binge eating. And it can happen today if I start lying to myself, talking about I'm never going to eat a sweet again. I'm just going to do it right now. I got to binge. And my mind still will go there. And when it does, I got to fight it because I already know. I lied to myself so much and would tell myself, oh, you're never going to binge again. You might as well go all out, YOLO. Do it right now. Just eat everything you want. Get a whole cake. You know, it's cool. You're going to work it off. You're going to exercise it off. You know, you're going to take a colon cleanser. You will be okay. Well, if my mind starts talking to me like that, now I have to tell her, like, oh, you lying. Because I had to admit that I was a big liar to myself. So, yeah. So trust me, when I'm talking to y'all about this stuff, this ain't nothing that I just learned in school. This is war wounds. I've been in, if you call it the trenches, the trenches of narcissism. I've been in the trenches. So can't nobody tell me nothing. You can't nobody say, oh, you just learned this in school. Nah, baby, I can't tell you how many narcissists I had in my dang old life. But with that being said, y'all, I am almost at time to be monetized. So I'm saying, like, if y'all really support this channel, y'all rock with me, I will ask this, that try to check out some of my other videos, y'all. I got playlists. I got friends, toxic friend playlist. I also have the playlist on families, toxic family, narcissistic family. So if you haven't watched some of my videos, help me get them watch time hours up. Check them videos out. Let them play when you go to sleep. Listen to it, marinate. I'm almost like at 3,500, so I only need 500 more hours to so I can be monetized on this channel. So it'll really help out. Like I said, if you like the videos, you subscribe, you share the channel, and then you check out some videos you haven't to get that watch time hours up. Watching the video, if you can, to the end would be excellent and perfect. If y'all got any other suggestions on how I can get, thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out, because you helping right now to get the watch time hours up. Congrats on your channel growth. I appreciate it. I couldn't have done that without y'all. I love that y'all here. I hate y'all here. I love and hate that y'all here, you know. Congratulations. Thank you, Psych Perspective. Yeah, I got about 500 more hours to go before I can be monetized, y'all. So help me with that. Reason I say I hate that y'all here is because everybody here, because you probably been abused. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can't deny that piece of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I hate it. But I love that y'all here, that because it showed me that y'all fighting to be healed, man. We not just laying down and we ain't dying. We not giving up. We not about to be in the bed, oh, I was abused, my parents suck, I'm not getting up, not going to life, I'm not going to conquer life, I'm just going to be around and doing nothing. No. Even with the war wounds, you may have flashbacks, repeated thoughts, nightmares about the abuse, but you still get up every day. So I say, pat yourself on the back. You making major moves. You know, some people could not have gone through what you did. So one thing I had to learn is to stop comparing my life to other people's lives. You know, I wanted to be on target with them. And sometimes people would try to make me feel bad. Oh, you don't have this. Oh, you're not this. You on this and this. Do you know the hell that I had to overcome? The low self-esteem that I have to come and that I still have to fight because it'll try to talk to me. And I got to knock it down with thought stopping and all that kind of stuff. How I know this stuff work? I may have read about it in a book, but I tried it out for years before I met y'all on here. So that's how I know it worked, because it stopped my negative thoughts. Because if not, I was just in a wrapped up cycle of negativity, anxiety, rage and anger, self-hate, because I didn't do more to stop the abuse, and I didn't stop it quick enough. No, stop them negative thoughts. Oh, you should have did more. Stop. No. Whatever I did, and I learned from that. So yeah, we here, we fighting. I believe God got some great things for us, in store for us. And that a lot of these people are going to really be sick to their dang on stomach, because they're going to see they had a chance to be with somebody that was real, somebody that was authentic, somebody who would have given them the shirt off their own back. And that they fumbled that bag, they messed it all up. And that they're going to have to look back and regret to see, wow. Because they're not meeting all these real, authentic, and great people. That's why they come back. And that's something else you have to get ready for if you go no contact, or something you probably already dealing with if you limit to the no contact. These people coming back. I got a video on that. You should check that out. The reason, something like why the narcissist lurks. They're lurking because they realize they haven't found another you. They may replace you with another body or some other flunkies they consider to be flunkies or whatever, but they ain't found nobody as genuine, as kind as you are. And so they want to come back to see if they can still get over on you, so they can play the games with you again. But when they come back now, they see that you healed and you're not falling for them same tricks. Tell them you've been watching TellSamyra. You've been watching the spiritual whistleblower. You've been watching these other people, baby, and they coming back looking for stupidity, and the only thing they finding now is wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So with that being said, like I said, thank you again for subscribing. If you haven't already liked this video, do so. I hope you got something out of this video. Let me know in the comment section what's going on. Thank you for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Have